See, that's a much better one. Mine was just gonna be like, young adults. I don't even.
Adults.
That's what
young
it is.
adults.
No longer young adults. No longer young adults. Now we're old, and we're reading these stories, and it's very, very cringy. Young adults. No longer young adults.
I like that. We should record a real version of that for the beginning.
So I don't know what Jeditor is going to do for this, but it should be hilarious.
Poor Jeditor.
Young adults, no longer young adults. We used to be kids,
and then you come
now
in,
we're old.
You come in with your 104 or your 18
There was
years.
18 years of childhood, then work comes along just to ruin it. But we're nostalgic and we peak, so we're gonna read the books that we used to love.
And ruin them in our memory. I don't know. It's
and
not
kill our childhoods.
Welcome to No Longer Young Adults. Shut up, Wayne!
So we might have a backup dog in the background. Don't ignore him. He's fine.
Don't ignore.
We should introduce ourselves, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, what was it? Welcome to the No Longer Young Adults. I'm still learning it.
Yeah.
I'm like backup here. I'm not the actual person.
He old. Just kidding.
Dude,
when we were
I'm
young adults,
Adults.
he was already an adult.
Yep.
Adult.
Mm-hmm.
He's not that much older than us. This sounds so bad.
No, I'm ancient.
He's ancient. He's decrepit.
Fucking fossil.
We thought we
Get
did a
off
fossil.
my lawn!
That way we can call this podcast
I have
retro.
to bring an archaeologist with me every time I go somewhere to make sure I don't fall apart. All right, so we're here. I'm Jesus NRM, Jay. We have.
I am. Hello.
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 I am. What is my username?
What's the
What do you use for Instagram?
marvelous cause?
MarvelousAries.cause.
Yeah.
My name is Hale.
My name's Sydney. I'm Gassy, Pixie, and Shy.
I'm shy.
Worst part is, I know I'm gonna have to take the lead on this, but you're the one who started this.
I'm the one who started. Well, me
Can
and
I just
you.
say I finished the book first and I hate it the
Finished
most?
all of the book?
Well, no, I finished our first
I was about to
half.
say.
I stopped
no.
reading. I just want to say I stopped reading because it almost felt like this was never going to happen.
Well, now it happened.
And
Now
and
we're
then I
here.
was the one who was the last one to read it.
I lied to both of y'all because I did all 12 chapters yesterday.
I'm not
See,
gonna
I
lie.
thought I was like on chapter 10 and I was like, I'll finish it.
I'm not
When I
gonna
go
lie. I
home.
read chapters 10 to 12 today.
But remember, I had told y'all I was like, I'm already done.
Yeah, no.
And
You're
I
not a
read-
liar.
I did all 12 chapters yesterday.
But
Are you
alright.
chasing your tail?
We're gonna
Yes.
go through the first 12 chapters of the book. What's the book?
Twilight.
By Stephanie Meyer.
Because we hate ourselves.
It's something we were nostalgic about.
It's
I
something
believe
Sydney
this was-
nostalgic about
Sid's pick.
Haley liked it when she was younger.
when I was younger. Yeah.
So-
Also, what rating are we giving this? Because I have a couple of notes that might make it PG-13.
Oh, this is going to be 18 plus.
Oh yeah. no,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. That's fine.
Mature. You can curse as much as you want. I think Jeditor will try to bleep it out for podcasty reasons.
I would like to start with this, just purely these two.
Okay.
Before we start, favorite characters.
Okay.
What were your favorite characters?
I'm trying to think of someone who is completely ancillary and not important to the story at all, and probably
Angela? Eric?
ruined
Lauren?
Bella's day the most. And I'm gonna go with Lauren. I think
my
was her
God.
name.
It took me forever. I was like, why the fuck is she being such a bitch?
Yeah, Lauren. Lauren, I think is why.
Auntie Malice.
Who's Alice?
What?
She was just introduced. I haven't read this book yet.
Oh.
You never read it?
This is my first time
This
reading
is-
Twilight.
this
Did you
is
ever
why
watch the movies?
I watched the movies. Oh God, I must have been
Alice is the little
20.
short pixie-haired girl.
okay, but in the book
Yeah.
she
In the
was
book, she was
just introduced.
Yes.
Yeah, this
Okay.
is I know
She's
the
the-
sister,
the
right?
sister.
Yeah, okay. Now I know.
Not the
who-
blonde one, the other one.
Yeah.
The other one.
The other one.
My
2 favorite characters are a tie between Charlie and Emmett.
Okay.
Because...
You would.
Who's Emmett?
The big man,
muscly one
the
that
brother.
likes to fight bears.
Ah, okay, got it.
Yeah. My least favorites are Bella and Edward.
Of course.
And yours?
I think, honestly, I like Edward less than Bella. Like, I think Edward is just a trash representation of, like,
Fully
worst that women want.
Fully agree. I'm not gonna lie.
Like
middle school me was
the gaslighting.
Middle school me thought he was like the hottest, like epitome of being sexy.
And I have some more notes on why I don't like Ed, but I think I'll bring that up when it comes up.
I like the banter between Edward and Bella. Because I'm like...
That is the only thing I find clever.
It makes my little 12-year-old heart happy.
I actually also think that Bella is a lot smarter than people give her credit. Like, she... Again, I'm going to bring this up in notes, but I feel like she's smarter than people give her credit for.
She's pretty observant with Edward, at least. She notices eyes.
She notices that she's observant.
Hale is giving me some looks right now, like, what the fuck are you talking
about? I don't know if I would
about?
qualify her as
I'm saying smarter. I'm not saying she's intelligent all the way, but... But let's go ahead and go into the book itself, Chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Can I just say, my very first note that I have for any part of the book, why is your carry-on a parka? Because I would like to know why that was important for us to know.
Okay.
Because she was like, it was 75 degrees in Phoenix, the sky a perfect cloudless blue. I was wearing my favorite shirt, sleeveless, white eyelet lace. I was wearing it as a farewell gesture. My carry-on art item was a parka. That has nothing to do with anything that was in the rest of that entire fucking paragraph.
Well, it was her goodbye because she's going from somewhere sunny. But
she didn't talk about anything else that she was.
It's also letting you. It's also letting you know in the first paragraph that she's traveling.
Yeah.
My carry-on is a parka.
Maybe
it has nothing.
She drove me to the airport. It has nothing to do with anything other than that.
It's trying to be subtle, but it's not because it's kind of it is a non sequitur. I think is the official term.
Yeah, it just feels very out of place there. I'm like, why did we need to know that?
And it's her goodbye, like I was wearing it as a farewell gesture.
Gesture.
But the farewell gesture was the favorite shirt.
Yeah.
Not the parka. The parka was just stuck in there.
Well,
it just didn't fit.
She was wearing it as a farewell gesture, but she's going to need that parka as soon as she gets to...
I guess. It just felt like it did not fit right there.
Yeah, no.
I can see why.
Yeah.
Like, this is a weird opening.
There was a very weird opening. I didn't like that.
I
didn't like that.
It made me uncomfortable.
Fair enough.
So... My first note is, did Bella's mom really need to escape a bad life with Charlie, or did she need excitement?
It's probably excitement, to be honest with you.
Excitement, but at first when I was reading it, I was like, Charlie's beating her.
No!
I know. And then I was like,
he's an angel.
Let me reverse, let me get my head out of the...
Hang on. Dude. Everybody who might possibly be listening, me, Hale, I am 1,000% the president of the Charlie Swan fan club.
I don't think that he's that great of a character, but you have your opinion and you take it. There's murder in them eyes.
There's murder. I'm surprised it wasn't turned to me when I went, he's boring. Nope, there it is.
No.
Exasperation.
As the book and the series goes on, you will see that Charlie is the only fucking sane character in the whole goddamn series.
I don't know. You don't think well, I guess we'll get there. We'll get there.
I honestly also think we should keep future talk out of this because that's spoilers for me.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's why I'm not giving any details.
Well, that's it.
Just that he's an amazing. I love him. All right.
My first note was Bella is quite verbose for a high schooler. Also extremely depressing.
She really is.
She's really verbose. This is all from her perspective, and she's using all this flowery language in her head. Who the fuck thinks like that as a teenager?
Yeah, I literally wrote down Stephanie Meyer really loves describing things.
honestly, like
it's
not as bad as
I made a note later about that, saying that the movie does not do justice to some of her descriptions.
Honestly,
Agreed.
no.
Yeah.
The movie was
the book is
tragedy.
always better than the movie, though.
Always.
Yeah,
And
always, but
I do want to say that as much as I don't like Book Bella, just because I think she's cringy.
I hate Movie Bella.
Movie Bella
Is even
could
worse.
have been so much better, except for how they wrote her. I do not think it is Kristen Stewart's fault.
No,
I think
honestly,
she did really well.
it
with
is an
what she was
adaptation,
given.
so fair enough.
reading this, although I will never forgive Kristen Stewart for the movie Speak. It probably wasn't her fault. It's probably the director. But that is a beautiful book that maybe we'll get to one day.
But
Right.
yeah, I don't know.
We're straying too far from God's grace right now.
My next note for chapter 1. We get it. You hate the rain.
I put down the quote. I'd already said my goodbyes to the sun, and I said, and I was just like, okay, we get it. You're depressed about the
Like,
clouds.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Like, she's also very attached to feelings, specifically, i.e., I don't know why I did that. I miss
No,
the
it's
normal crunch of gravel as I walked.
Oh
like,
my god, yes! I was
who
like, what
cares?
the fuck?
Also-
Why do you care about gravel when you're walking? Wait.
Yes, I was like, who the fuck likes that?
I would understand if later she was like, I kind of miss the crunch of gravel or something if she visited her mom. Because that's a nice sound when you're walking, you know?
I guess,
But
at
not
the
that much.
Like,
Not
it's
that
too
much.
much. That's the
Who-
thing.
Like, what even?
Like, you just...
I also put down, why is she so mean to Charlie? It's a free fucking car. It's
Yeah.
a free car.
It's a free... Well, but she's a teenager.
I get it, but also, like, it's a free car.
But yeah...
And she's so mean to him for no reason. I get it that you're not very close to him, but you don't have to be so, like, I can't believe I have to spend time with my father. Oh my god. Like, it's not like he's a bad dad.
Sometimes.
I'm like, it's not like he's a bad dad.
No,
Wait,
like,
who?
Charlie. Like, so she's
Okay,
just so...
let's be real.
She's just so hard on him for...
Charlie isn't a great person to have around in your life. He's always going to be at work or doing something else rather than being in your life.
Well, I feel like part of that is because she was with her mom for so long. He was living by himself for so long.
That is true, but at the same
It might also
time...
make her cringe because she lives in the same house and is not letting go of the past, probably.
Maybe, but I don't know. It was very weird to me how she's like just so anti-Charlie.
Yeah.
Mostly, though, what bothers me is you chose to come live with him.
Yes.
That's another thing, yeah.
You chose that.
this
Please
life.
stop. Like he hasn't done anything wrong. Like, yeah, he's boring and he's not like the best dad, but I don't feel like he deserves as much shit as she gives him.
No.
Yeah, no, agree.
But I mean, this is also something that's in her head. She's not saying this to him, so...
That's true, but I don't know.
Because, like, I feel like as soon as she got into the situation, she was fine. It was fine. Everything was fine. Like, she was actually like, I actually like this a lot more than...
once
than...
she started, like, getting there, but I was just like, I don't understand. Because I don't feel like, based on how she's described her mom...
I actually think this is one of the positives for Belle, because this is actually making her a little more realistic. It's apprehension to a new situation.
She's
No, I agree with
Yeah.
that. She's just like very... I also put... Why is happiness in forks impossible, emo bitch?
So,
All I put was...
She said something about how it's impossible, am I right?
so
I
I
think so.
fucking detest the name of the town.
Forks?
So, yes, so
think
every
why?
time I
Real
refer
name.
to it, I refer to it as a different utensil.
Wait, but isn't that the real name of the town?
Yeah.
Yes, but I still hate it.
Fuck you!
My next note is, oh hey, Gassy's people apparently hail from Spoons. She was tiny, several inches shorter than my 5'4" and
Hey.
that's where the quote stops. And then I also wrote, also Forks, really?
Forks, really? But that's a real town. It's a real name of it.
I fucking hate it.
Where are they in, again? Oregon?
There we go.
No,
They're in
Seattle.
Washington.
They're
Washington State.
Washington.
That's where
Fuck
it is.
you, Washington State.
Page 7. She said, "That's really nice, Dad. Thanks, I appreciate it. No need to add that my being happy in Forks is an impossibility." Fuck.
That's,
Impossibility?
I guess because she...
Look,
she's one of those people who...
It's so different from what she's used to.
But
Like,
it's not.
so
But
different.
saying that the happiness is impossible, I'm like, we
Can
get
you
it,
imagine
emo.
going from, like, the city we're in to a podunk town filled with like 400
But I wouldn't ever
people.
say that it would be impossible for me to be happy there.
My thing is, again, you chose this.
That's the
Yes.
thing. That's
And
the problem
even
with
if you
this.
chose it for your mom or whatever, you
Which
chose
I have a
this.
note about that when we get there. when she
Yeah.
says that.
No.
I'm not even. Yeah. There were so many parts where I was just like,
But
look
at
at me, so quirky and emo. I'm not like other girls. We get it. You're sad and pale. Like,
Also, my I didn't write this down, but it was too green. Fuck you.
yeah,
Bitch.
like so many people.
Fuck you in
want
your
that.
desert.
Yep.
Fuck you in your desert.
Well, she literally says at some point, I prefer brown. I like the color brown. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, and I'm like, I get it.
You're boring.
It's warm, but like, I get it. You're sad. You're pale. You're
Yeah.
emo. Like,
You're sad, you're pale, you're emo.
At one point she said something about, I said, we get it, you're sad and pale. Me too, bitch, you ain't special. But then I also said, there was a quote where she said, like, no one was gonna bite me, and I was like, I literally wrote down eye roll, clever, Stephanie Meyer.
I will say,
Yeah.
you can see, like, where Stephanie Meyer's like, I'm writing something, rather than it being a story.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's why, like, I can't... I mean, it took me so long to read through what I had to read to.
Yes, it was only half the book that we read.
Yep. I actually am surprised that I did actually get through it, because it's half a book. It was near 200 pages that we read through. And
It was 259.
I haven't read that much in forever.
I don't read anymore.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we're actually doing this. Cause
Yeah.
it's
I was like,
making
I
me read.
finished The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo not too long ago.
I had to write down. So that was the end of the fucking notes that I have in here. The rest of them are in here. I literally wrote down, if I write a note every time she's cringy or a bitch to someone in her head, I'll be writing the whole damn book. And then, like, a minute later I said, I'm not high enough for this book.
You know, like, I'm trying to think about it. How would you think someone of that age would be bitchier to people, would be more judgmental of people? Like, just in general? Like, I feel
Yes, but I also feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when I was at that age, like, I was very bitchy, but I was also nice to people because I got that it wasn't their fucking fault that I was miserable.
Yeah, I was just nice to
That's
people.
the thing. That's the thing. I think that's the disconnect, because Bella doesn't seem to be nice to people. She's just kind of awkward in front of people.
But she's an only child.
That's
We're
another
both-
thing.
We're both, like...
We're-
Only children can be nice.
Only
yeah,
children are a
but
different breed.
no, yeah, they are a different
I
breed.
get that they're a different breed, but they can still be nice. And if she's
I'm
17,
not, I'm not saying that they
she's
cannot be
old
nice.
enough to know how to be
I'm
nice to
saying
people.
usually people with siblings think more about other people's feelings. No
I'm
offense.
sorry to all the only children out there. Gassy hates you.
I'm not.
I'm not.
Yeah, neither is Hale.
Are you an only child? No.
I
you
have two
siblings.
brothers.
Yeah.
Are you the baby of the family, right?
I'm the eldest of the family.
Oh, hey, me
You're
too.
the eldest?
Are we all the
I
eldest?
thought Brian was older than you.
Nope, he just has his life put together, and I don't.
That's how I feel about my middle sister. And we'll come back to that later.
Middle sister!
Are you are the middle?
I'm the oldest child.
That's what I thought. Are
So-
all three of us the oldest?
Wow.
See, and so we're more in tune to people's feelings.
Yeah.
Because we were made the parents, just
Yeah.
like Bella.
Yeah.
I'm
She
the
was
oldest.
made to be the parent of her mother. But we'll get to
Yes.
that later.
But
So she can be nice to people. I
still
feel
an
like.
only child, though.
Um,
So it's still
What
all
page
about
are y'all on
me.
right now?
I'm not
page are
following
you
the
on?
book at all.
I'm
I
on
am
page
just
18.
following my notes.
I'll just follow you because I jumped all the way to Edward gaslighting Bella twice.
So
Oh my god, I have that written down too. But I put down, there's the part where she's like, they don't, these people aren't, she's in the cafeteria, right? And she's seeing the Cullens for the first time at that table. And she's
Yeah.
like, they're the only people that haven't been staring at me, so like it's safe for me to stare at them. I wrote down, I hate when people stare at me, but these guys aren't staring at me, so I'm gonna stare at them. Like,
Well,
staring.
but I get
contest.
what she means, though, is without fear of meeting an excessively interested pair of eyes.
oh no, I
So
fully
they're
agree,
not
but
even,
I'm like,
interested in her. But yeah, at the same time, I'm like,
you hate when people stare at you, so you're just gonna sit there and stare at them like a fucking creep? Like, what? Also, she's
Yeah.
real mean to these people that are trying to be her friends.
Like, that's the other thing.
She's
like
a bad friend.
she's thinking, oh, I'm all better than these people because I'm from a bigger town and I have a bigger brain. But like, it's what the fuck? They're just trying to be nice to you, please.
Exactly. I also underlined on page 18. Yet they were all exactly alike. Every one of them was chalky pale, the palest of all the students living in this sunless town. Paler than me, the albino. I'm like, why?
Wait.
Like, I get she has to emphasize how pale they are, but that was just, I feel like, excessive.
Like, she's not actually albino, though,
No,
right?
no,
So-
she's
just
not.
like-
She's pale
she's
for someone who
essentially-
lived in Phoenix.
Okay.
And just really, really white, though, in general. Because I
Yeah.
think in one before this was like, what is it? Okay, so this is a lot different than Phoenix, huh? He asked, very. It doesn't rain much there, does it? 3 or 4 times a year. Wow, what must that be like? Sunny, I
Sunny.
told him. You don't look very tan. My mother is part albino.
I feel like that was a joke, though.
That
It is,
probably
it is.
was a joke, but
Yeah,
it's
well,
not a
'cause
very
she-
good joke.
It is.
She said
'cause-
something, it looked like clouds and a sense of humor didn't mix.
Yeah.
A few more months of this and I'd forget how to use sarcasm.
I don't think so, bitch. Not in your head.
I doubt it.
But no, I just meant like, her and her mom are just white. They're the whitest bitches you know.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
But, like,
without being
paler than me,
albino.
the albino. I'm like,
Which is kind of hard to imagine because I've seen some white bitches in my day. Like, how can you get any
I am
whiter than that?
translucent.
No, you're not.
Wait.
As soon as like she laid eyes on Ed, I just wrote, "Well, that's an instant panty drop for Bella." As soon as she saw it,
I also, they all had very dark eyes despite the range in hair tones. And I had to underline hair tones and write toes because when I first read it, I thought it said hair toes.
No!
Hairy toe. Despite the range in
They
hairy
just have their
toes.
feet on top of the table. These savages.
As if they were all suffering from sleepless night, or almost done recovering from a broken nose, though their noses, all their features, were straight, perfect, angular. What?
That's a really weird segue.
Yes.
A really
also,
weird-
Who stares at people's noses like that from across the cafeteria?
that's the thing. Like, she's being very obvious about staring, and like you would think these apparently mind-reading vampires would notice. You know?
No, not all of them mind read.
Oh, that's right. Ed's the only one
Yeah,
that can do that.
these vampires have powers.
Forever, he's gonna be Ed because I don't want to call him Edward. Call
Yeah,
him.
that's fair. I think I referred to him a couple of times in my notes as Eddie.
I'd prefer Edward.
No.
Because all I can think is Full Metal Alchemist. I'm like, no, Ed!
This is where you need a partition in your brain.
No
I
partition.
So there's one part where she's like, painted by an old master as the face of an angel. It was hard to decide who was the most beautiful. Maybe the perfect blonde girl or the bronze-haired boy. And I just wrote creepy.
Yeah.
She's so creepy about that.
There's a lot
Well-
of creep factor in this book for me.
I feel like this part is just talking about how beautiful they are, though. Because they're
But it's
supposed to be...
excessive.
Well, but, like, she's never seen any
And
anyone
it's
so
also
beautiful
supposed
like
to
that.
tell us how beautiful they are
like,
too.
This is
like
how,
this is supposed
they're
to.
so beautiful, she's flabbergasted.
But
She's
this is where we
stunned.
get back
Gobsmacked.
into what Jay said earlier about Stephanie Meyer having a hard time going between what's
Oh, yeah.
actually Bella's thoughts versus
Yep.
storytelling.
Yep.
Because I'm like, this is so creepy if it's just inside the mind of this girl. From a storytelling perspective, yes, it works. But considering this is supposed to be inside her mind, it just comes off really creepy.
That's true.
That's the thing, because this is all first person. And like honestly, like if Stephanie Meyer were to write like I don't know an encyclopedia, I would be able to read the fuck out of that book because the descriptions he has for like even
Yes.
minor things are beautiful. But when it comes to storytelling perspective, it's like, well,
Make it third person if you're gonna do it like
Yes.
this. I also don't like how she kept referring to Edward before she knew his name as the boyish one. That just kind of, I was like, ooh.
I guess to me he looks the youngest out of them, but it's still weird.
It's still a
The
weird.
weird thing about this is I know that this is not only like a teenage range book. Like I know adults are reading this book, and that's what makes it weird.
Especially because do you remember that? I don't know if you remember this.
No.
That group when it like first became popular.
The
That group of
Twihards.
Twilight moms.
No.
It was literally a group called Moms for Twilight, and it was just these moms that were like super into it. It was almost like 50 Shades of Grey.
Yep.
fans.
And that's the thing I see.
And then
Like
one of those Twilight fans broke off and created 50 Shades of Grey. Because that's what this is.
We at No Longer Young Adults do not claim 50 Shades of Grey as any kind of actual literature. Thank you.
thank you. Actually.
So,
Wait till
I feel
you
like
see
we
what's
should
on the
actually
roster.
say, like, not read the book, but, like, say what's happening in the book as we're going. 'Cause I'm just going off quotes, and I've realized that that's probably not
Well,
a good
the
idea.
only thing I would say about that is that it's been 30 minutes and we've only done one chapter.
Not even. Not even. But to be fair, a lot of that we spent, like, doing the introduction and, like,
Yeah,
figuring stuff out.
true.
What's your next note?
Okay, so my next note is on page 20. It's when she's, like, learning their names. And it's...
Also, my boy Mike gets fucking slammed by Bella several times.
Yes!
Okay,
She's
but
so mean to
he's-
him.
He is kind of weird, don't get me wrong.
He's so persistent. Like,
But
he
I
is.
mean,
I
he's
don't,
a
he needs
si-
to take a hint, but at the
Here's the
beginning, he
thing,
doesn't
he's a
do it.
16-year-old
Where
boy
does he
trained by
slam her?
media to be persistent.
I
That's the
don't
problem. Like,
Well, and as time goes on, yes, it gets annoying, but especially at the beginning where it's like he's brand new and he hasn't been super persistent
Yeah.
yet because he hasn't had time to. Like,
Where did she slam him?
not yet, but I
Yeah.
mean, like, it happens. Like, they
But
get into several arguments
I
over
see-
these
The
12
meeting
chapters.
shoes and-
I said, so she's learning their names, like
Right.
from Jessica, and I glanced sideways at the beautiful boy who was looking at his tray now, picking a bagel to pieces with his long, pale fingers. I just wrote salad fingers.
Yes,
Oh my god, beautiful.
And so, like, yeah, it just, they are very nice.
You know what I wish I could scrub out of my head, though? Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. I wish I could read this anew.
Yes,
and I've
without
never
picturing
seen-
them.
Because I
don't-
wish I could remember what I pictured.
Coming from a
I feel like I pictured them more attractive.
outsider
I
perspective,
always used to picture them kind of bluish tinted. I don't know why.
coming
I think it's from the chalky tone.
coming from an outsider's perspective, first watching the movie and then reading this book, I actually don't see either of them.
Really?
I don't see either of them.
See, but that's the problem. I think is because we read it and then watched it, and now that's like it's the last thing in
It's
our
probably
brain.
Burned it.
imprinting is what happened there.
Yeah.
Like, whereas I didn't care
And
about
I
the
never
movie.
watched the rest of the movies either.
I only
just
watched
the first
one because of a whim. I was like, you know what? I have piracy. Let's do it.
I don't remember why I watched it.
I watched all of them. I was so into the Twilight books
I
when I
know
was
my
in middle
aunt
school.
tried to take me and my best friend at the time to go and watch the movie, and then the power went out in the theater. I think that
a
should have been a
sign.
sign.
A
That should have
sign.
been a sign.
Yeah.
So I also wrote down the word incest. Because
Yeah.
they are like
Oh
from
yeah,
a-
aren't they dating technically?
well, so Rosalie and Emmett are dating, and Jasper and Alice are dating.
Okay.
And technically, Rosalie and Jasper are considered the Hale twins, and they
Uh-huh.
have a different last name. But, and I get that this isn't how it actually is because they're vampires, but from everyone else's perspective, they all live together. They were adopted at 8 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
And
story.
like it just from everyone, just thinking of it from a perspective of people who don't know that they're vampires,
Yeah, they
Yeah.
They do not care about that.
like that just and they're like we just want to blend in, like we're trying to blend. Like later when he's talking about the cars, he's like we're just trying to blend in. I'm like how?
I actually think that's the worst plot point of this entire book. We want to blend in, but we never hang out with people. We never like
We're never
actually.
nice to anyone.
We're just weirdly sticking ourselves out there in the
just
cafeteria
some
every
beautiful
time
devils.
by hanging out with each other constantly.
Nobody else and dating our foster.
Not
siblings.
only that, but we're also weird about the way we hang out with each other. We just kind of sit here, all looking in opposite directions, looking beautiful.
And
like,
never
No,
eat.
they
are
look at
you?
each other, don't they?
No.
No, they
Usually
barely
they're like
talk.
because they do like the. I'm pretty sure they can like. I don't know. Edward
Not
can
all
like.
of them.
Well, Edward can read
can.
minds, but I'm pretty sure they can just think stuff, and Edward can.
That'd
don't
be-
know,
No,
but
I
like-
think,
Still,
I think
but-
they talk to each other.
But they do it like out of the corner of their mouth and like really
Yeah,
quietly
'cause
and stuff. And they don't. They do all look in different directions. They don't look like they're talking.
Like, I saw that
Right.
note that they were all looking in different directions, and I'm like, what?
Why would they do that? We
Yeah.
want to blend in.
You are
Doesn't
not
blend
blending
at
in
all.
by doing this. You are not blending in at all. Like,
Yeah, no.
as far as like character motivations go, like I don't think the Cullens, or is that
Right,
what?
the Cullens.
that they're actual characters.
What is your next note?
I'm in chapter 2 by this point.
okay.
I don't take very much notes
I
other
took
than
a lot of
conversation
notes.
Okay.
points.
I also so Bella says at one point that's really kind of nice for them to take in all those kids like that when they're so young and everything, like talking about how Jessica said that they were like fostered and adopted
Yeah.
kids. Jessica says, I guess so. Jessica admitted reluctantly, and I wrote down, how dare they foster children? Like, what do you mean, I guess that's nice of them?
Yeah.
Like, they're fostering and adopting kids. What do you mean, I
I
guess
think
so?
that's a sentiment of they're weird and I don't like them because, like, they definitely, I can guarantee you, they have definitely rejected at least 80% of this school.
Oh, probably so.
Definitely.
Definitely. So no one likes
Why
them.
does she have it out for their parents?
Yeah, well, and because it even says, I think that Mrs. Cullen can't have any kids, though, she added, as if that lessened their kindness, and I just wrote, bitch!
Yeah. That was unnecessary.
Thanks a lot, Anna Kendrick.
Like, it's very clear that a lot of the
Right?
students don't like the Cullens.
Just kidding, Anna Kendrick. I love you.
We do. We love you.
Exactly.
So the next thing I have is, so they were talking about how they were from they had just moved from Alaska recently, and she's like talking about how she's excited that she's not the only newcomer, and she goes, certainly not the most interesting by any standard. And I wrote down, you've never been interesting.
Well, she's agreeing.
She's so boring. So I agree with her there.
That's another thing, like, coming from the perspective of knowing that they travel to other places when it's time, like they've had enough high school to be seniors and graduated. Do they change their names every time they move? Like,
no, I'm pretty sure that they keep their names because.
So how do they move? Like, do they just?
What do you mean? How do they move?
Do they redo IDs? Like, how do they get away with reinstituting?
I guarantee you they've figured it out by now because they are all like a couple hundred years old.
And
True,
people
but...
just from talking to them get all like,
that's
frazzled
true. There's a
because
frazzling.
They're so beautiful. Nobody really gets
pretty.
to know
And plus,
them.
I thought that was a vampire thing. I didn't think that
they're
was
so beautiful. And then they have that. I think it talks about some points later too. There's that little instinct, except for Bella. Bella doesn't have that instinct to stay away.
Yeah.
Like the whole like apex, like we're an apex predator.
Yeah.
Thing. I also said there was one point where Edward's looking at her and it said he had a slightly frustrated expression. I just underlined that and wrote horny, not frustrated, horny.
But knowing what you know from future chapters, you know why he's frustrated.
Oh yeah, no. I fully like I wrote down a lot of things that I'm like, because I've read this before.
I tried to keep it like, well, I tried to pretend this was my first time reading it, but it was kind of difficult.
It was. It has at one point she says, I wonder when he turned her down talking about Jessica, and I just wrote, ooh, burn.
Yeah.
That's what she gets for
I
talking
told
about
you, like, it's a definite, like, that they rejected everyone. There's no way that
everybody.
A fucking bunch of horny teenagers trying to get it on with fucking 10 out of 10s.
People?
Yeah.
Well, and also, she described this hair as unusual, and I don't know what's unusual about his hair. And I even put a question mark by it. I'm like, why is his hair unusual?
Where is unusual?
Page 23, it says, next to the center aisle, I recognized Edward Cullen by his unusual hair. When she first goes into bio
doesn't
class.
Doesn't he just have tousled hair?
Yeah. I don't know why it's unusual. That was just so...
Like, even...
And then...
Bella's kind of, conservative. Not conservative. That's a strong word. But
I was going to say...
I'll get to that, I'll get to that point when we get to that.
Because, I mean, the other thing is she's from Phoenix, big-ass city. You would think you would see unusual hair
More
there.
hairstyles and stuff like that.
What is this placed in? What time? What
2008.
2008?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
Also, in reference to how he, like, went rigid at the edge of his seat and was, like, leaning so far away, I was like, he's so dramatic.
They're both so
dramatic. Because he's, like, literally, the way it's described is that he's sitting like this, and he's like...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Looking like constipated and shit.
I've got an issue to bring up later on too that I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bella?
It's like extreme edge of his chair. So I'm just imagining him sitting like this, like on the very fucking edge.
Well, I mean, couldn't he also be doing like this, like all the way forward?
Well, but it said he was like away from her.
Oh yeah.
So that's what made me, and I'm just imagining like, because they're in biology class, I'm imagining like they're
the long black table.
No, well yeah, but I'm imagining like the bar stool type chairs. So I'm thinking he's like over here trying to balance on his chair, like.
Poor Ed is gonna fall off.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, I wrote down that I just thought this was a dumb phrase. This was more of a dig at Stephanie Meyer than the actual book itself. He didn't know me from Eve. I get that that's an actual phrase. Usually is he doesn't know me from Adam, but she's a girl, so it doesn't know me from Eve. But like, I just think it's a dumb phrase overall.
Yeah.
I've never really liked the phrase. I sat for... when he left biology class and he, like, sprinted out, she says, I sat frozen in my seat staring blankly after him. He was so mean. It wasn't fair. I began gathering up my things slowly, trying to block the anger that filled me for fear my eyes would tear up. I just wrote, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
I will say.
You don't like when people like you, and you don't like when people dislike you. Like,
Yeah, but if someone's like having such a strong reaction to your smell,
but it's not someone. But, well, she doesn't like.
It's called being antisocial.
Yeah, but like I don't know. I don't like. I think it's just
Clear,
because she
very clearly, Bella is antisocial because honestly, she didn't mention a single fucking friend from Phoenix. Not one
No.
friend. She didn't. No. She didn't.
She
keep
never
in
dated.
contact.
She never.
Yep. So, like, there's this fresh new babby girl that fucking hasn't fucking done anything in her high school life coming to fucking sporks.
Sporks. The fucking knife over here.
but I mean,
chopsticks.
I don't blame her for like almost crying though. Like if you think like someone thought you smelled that fucking bad,
I mean, sure,
I'd
but
be
I mean,
offended.
like,
and it's your first
I still
day
think
of
it's just a
school.
little dramatic. I don't know.
It is.
I feel like she's just a very dramatic.
It's different from
I
someone
don't
being
know.
like. And someone being like, you fucking stink, go take a bath. Like, that's
Well,
the
isn't
difference.
that worse to be
No.
like fucking
No,
gripped?
it could be like,
No,
oh
I don't
shit, I need to check myself. Like, it
I don't think so. I think
And
that's
she
still
checked
just
herself
as
and she
fucking
didn't smell bad. So like,
Yeah, but
that's the kicker.
But then she thinks she's ugly. Like, this is about self.
That is something that legitimately
What do you
bugs
mean
me
so?
about Bella. She thinks she's so ugly, and like everyone in that school
But
wants to
that's
be
not
her.
far.
well, I can tell
off
you
from-
why. I can tell you exactly fucking why though. Because back in like 2008, that was the whole trope. Was like that. Like, you remember Wattpad? Fucking this.
That's true.
I'm so ugly
Yeah.
and I'm so quirky and I read and I like later she says something about how Wuthering Heights is like
But-
her favorite book and I'm like, oh my god, so quirky. Whose fucking favorite book is Wuthering Heights?
Well, there's some people who love Pride and Prejudice. I feel like that's the same one.
I wrote down that note too that she like Jane Austen. I'm like, ooh.
But
Well, I think it's trying to be like, oh, this character is sophisticated because they read big books that are
I don't know. But I know
classics.
people who
Like,
love.
ooh.
There's one person I know who's obsessed with Mr. Darcy.
Oh.
Obsessed.
Oh no! Like, okay.
Unhealthy levels of obsessed.
And that's another thing that I noticed. Like, she prefers like classical music as well as Chopin. And this artist is ruined forever for me, Debussy, because of Twitter.
oh my god, I have a note about that.
I have a note.
I have a note about that.
I made a note about it too.
Oh, it was worse.
Little eye emojis.
Oh,
Debussy.
yes. Are we going to chapter 2?
Yes, I didn't understand why she's already so obsessed with Edward. It's the second day of school. And she's talking about how it was better and it was worse. And she says, and it was worse because she goes through the reasons why it's better. And then she goes, and it was worse because Edward Cullen wasn't in school at all. And I just wrote, why is that worse if he doesn't?
Because he's a beautiful man and I want him.
Yeah,
I agree.
like all right,
Like-
Kip from Napoleon Dynamite.
But like because I was a little confused. I was like, usually it takes me a while to develop a crush.
Yeah, and she's just
That's
already
the
off
thing.
the bat so obsessed with him.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, media's very trained us to be like, love at first sight, love as soon as you see someone, love as soon as you...
But this is media, so usually media doesn't play by media rules, though, either.
What?
Well, like,
Wait,
that
what did you
mean?
just say?
Bella's
Media
not
doesn't play by media rules.
Bella's not affected by the media and stuff. Like,
Yes,
this
she
fucking,
is.
Yes, it's literally
Like with
telling
my-
us how to act is what this is trying to do. And
It's telling
Apparently.
us how to act.
what do you mean?
Us how to act. But it's not telling Bella how to act.
That's the thing.
So this is the propaganda.
Yeah, that's the point, though. This is the propaganda
but
telling
I don't
us.
think that like the characters in it are affected. How
Yes,
you're like,
they
how
should
you're like
be.
Mike is trained by blah blah. What if Mike doesn't fucking watch TV and shit?
But,
Hey,
What
his
if
last
Mike is
name
all
is
sports?
TV.
yeah.
Oh wait, that's Willy Wonka.
Oh my god.
I was just like, where was his last name? I think I would have remembered.
Yeah, I
His
don't
last
think he-
name is Newton.
That's what it
Yeah, it
is,
is,
because
'cause Edward mentions it.
yeah,
Newton's
Edward's
Olympic,
like
whatever.
Newton's a problem.
Well,
Nedward.
I think
Nedward.
before then, Charlie's like, oh, Mike Newton.
They own the Newton.
I know
hunting,
his family, whatever.
fishing
Charlie
store,
says
whatever.
it first. So at one point she's describing in the parking lot how all of them look, and she says, it was obvious that they were. Now that I looked, it was obvious that they were all dressed exceptionally
what page?
well. Page 32.
Oh, okay.
They were all dressed exceptionally well, simply, but in clothes that subtly hinted at designer origins. And I just wrote, what? Subtly hinted at designer origins.
They rich. They rich bitches.
Like, I don't know.
Like,
And
that's the thing.
That phrasing, like a lot of my notes are just like questions about Stephenie Meyer's phrasing.
Well, the thing is, for that specifically, I feel like it's trying to play into Bella's observation skills, which Stephenie Meyer's really is fucking playing up in the entirety of this book.
That's true. That goes back to that painter thing.
Yes. This is how I imagine Bella. If you imagine you're in a D&D campaign, Bella is the person who wants to pretend that they don't have a 2 in perception.
But
it's a 12, I promise.
No, she's more like, I promise it's a 15, and like
it's a
her
20.
perception's like a 10.
The zero's hidden.
Yeah.
The zero's silent.
Yep.
The 0 is silent.
Oh my God.
And then we're reading her mom's emails,
Mm-hmm.
and I just wrote helicopter much because she's like super like, I'm gonna call Charlie, I'm gonna call the police, and she's like, dude, give her a day to settle in.
Yeah, also, it's email. What the fuck? She doesn't have a phone on her. Like,
well, then this is the time before everyone has a smartphone.
Still, but
so
like,
I'm like, she's not gonna check her email
And
every
this
day, especially while
time,
she's getting set.
You had to pay for unlimited minutes.
It even talks about how she has dial-up.
like that's the other thing. Like, fucking, like, she has. Well, no, that's why I'm pointing this out, because she has a phone in the house. That's the problem. So she could call her.
That's true.
Her mom could call Bella and be like, "Are you okay?" Like,
yeah, she doesn't
Her
need
mom
to
could
send
take
like
a
these
like-
helicopter emails.
like
Isabella, if I haven't heard anything from you by 5:30 p.m. today, I'm calling Charlie. Like, fucking what?
just do it. Just do it. Like, don't
Nike.
do this.
Shia LaBeouf.
Shia LaBeouf.
Who's in the house? Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf.
I was looking for the picture where I found this, but funny how modern literature will also get away with references to in one sentence. The Cowardly Lion looked like the Terminator.
Oh my god, yes, I thought that was the
What?
dumbest
I'm
fucking...
like, wait.
I made the Cowardly Lion look like the Terminator,
There it
and I
was.
just wrote same.
Like,
Yeah.
like
That's a really weird comparison.
I
Right.
get what she was getting at with like what she was trying to say, but like at the same time, it's like this is clearly references. Like,
I'm like, well, and I'm just, what the fuck is that?
like why? Do you have beautiful description skills? Use them.
Yes. She really does, but like...
well, I guess because she's using two fucking...
I mean, there's a
weird.
fucking Coke product placement at some point in this shit, so...
I mean, it's
So-
not really product... Like, when you write a story, though, like, you gotta use the world around you.
True. But I mean, it's not the only time. There's several times brands are called out.
That's true.
Well, but it's just brands.
Yeah, but...
You can use brands in your book, you silly goose.
Oh my
You
god.
silly you goober.
I have to defend that, though, because, like, what...
Are
like,
you gonna use...
You goober. You little silly
Why
goose.
can't you say cola? Why can't you say...
Silly. You little silly.
Oh my god.
Well, why, who says cola?
I say cola.
Who are you?
J.
Virginian.
Yeah.
Virginian.
At least I don't say pop.
Virginian.
Virginian.
Jane?
Virginian.
Oh my
Nope,
God.
it's too close to vagina. He's
You're too
Virginian.
close to it. You from vagina? Oh wait.
Oh.
You are.
He goes, yeah.
We are
I
from
have to say,
Virginia.
she said, I had decided to read Wuthering Heights, the novel we were currently studying English, yet again, for the fun of it. And I just wrote, ooh, look at me, so intellectual, so bookish, not like other girls.
Was
Not
it
like
sarcasm?
Yeah, well, she was like,
No.
yet again for the fun of it. And I'm like,
Okay.
okay.
See, I wasn't sure if that was sarcastic.
No.
If it was like, yet
No.
again.
No, because, nope.
So, I hate how they start talking to each other. It feels like two goth kids are talking.
Yes!
Not really.
Oh
You
my
don't like the
goodness.
cold or the wet. Forks must be a difficult place for you to live. You have no idea.
Charlie.
Like, fuck, dude.
I do have to call out one sentence that I just related to on a spiritual level. And
Uh-huh.
it said, when I came here as a child, he would always remove the bullets as soon as he walked in the door, because he's a sheriff talking about
Yeah.
a gun. I guess he considered, and this is the part where I literally wrote down mood. I guess he considered me old enough now not to shoot myself by accident and not depressed enough to shoot myself on purpose.
It was like, well,
I
there it
remember
is.
reading that, and I'm like, wow, Bella.
I was like, it me. But then it said later she's talking about Dr. Cullen's family. It said Charlie surprised me by looking angry. I said, "You tell him, Daddy Charlie."
Ew. Oh,
Oh, that man.
no.
Can
I'm
we
sorry,
not?
but
With his crinkly smile.
with his
I didn't
hair
understand that.
that's so thin, you can see his shiny skin glistening under it.
So hot.
Oh my
Maybe
God.
I'm just imagining the actor, but
Probably.
I'm still.
I thought the
no.
actor was cute.
No.
I honestly, like, I just think of a, like, amorphous blob when I think of Charlie. He's not there most of the time. Like, when he is there, it's the game.
It's the
Fishing.
He's very concerned about her when she. Never mind that. When we get to
We'll
that.
get to it.
Yeah.
This is one part where it says Edward Cullen didn't come back to school. I wrote and stay out.
Yep.
Like the book would be so much shorter if. She
Oh my
just-
God, that's notes for chapter 3.
The book would be so much fucking shorter if she just. What is this? Oh, so they're talking about the snowball fight.
Page
39.
39. Okay.
They're talking about the snowball fight.
Halfway there.
And it says, I had my
Nice.
suspicions about Eric, and Mike gets knocked in the head. I had my suspicions about Eric, who was walking away, his back towards us in the wrong direction for his next class. Why does she already know Eric's schedule if she's not
Who's Eric?
exactly?
Who's Eric?
Eric is the chess club guy, the first guy to introduce himself to her, Mike's rival until Edward comes on the scene.
Oh.
Takes Angela to the dance.
Okay, so the guy we literally drop after this point.
Yes,
But I think
Yes.
they make a note that everything was kind of just small. Like, the whole school is small.
but I'm like, why does she
She
know
spent
his
her week.
schedule?
Well, she spent a week with them, and if this is the
That's
morning,
actually
right?
true.
I don't know anybody's. I
I-
didn't know any
This
of my
is-
friends' schedules in high
I
school.
mean, if
I
you're
knew schedules.
if you're walking around with them
Vaguely.
between every class, then sure, you will learn it from just
Yeah, and this is the
doing
morning,
the
so
action.
she might just know it's morning
maybe.
class.
I just personally, I was.
You're,
I
you're
never
just like,
learned.
I'm going to tear Bella apart.
Mm-hmm.
I froze where I stood.
fucking
There were
creepy
5
weirdo.
people at the table.
Not 5!
Not 5. I literally
not
wrote
my boy
the
Ed.
poor
He's
thing on
dead.
page 40. Now we get introduced to like Emmett as like more than just what his name is, and I drew a little heart. And I wrote down that he's a cutie because he shook his dripping hair towards them. And I'm just imagining them like, he's like, no, I'm thinking like, not like that. Like he's a cute, like he's just like shaking his hair, like he's adorable. Not like hot, like he's adorable, like, and then like he's getting water on them. And I dropped my head, letting my hair fall to conceal my face. when Edward-
Charlie.
Honestly, I'm a simp. There's 3 men in this entire thing that I simp for. Emmett, Charlie, and Carlisle.
I don't know, Carlisle. Stop talking.
Listen,
No. Carlisle is Dr. Cullen, their dad.
Oh, I still don't know him.
You should.
We were introduced to him at the hospital.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's right.
After Billy got hit.
He was the weird one. That's right.
Weird.
The weird one. As if the entire book
Yeah, I
isn't
was
filled
like-
with weird ones. I did think it was really cute how they described Jessica looking at
I
Mike.
think it's because chapter 3 focused on something
I
else,
feel
but
bad for Jessica. She's just following around Mike like a little puppy.
But to be
Oh
fair,
my
Mike
God,
is following
yes.
around Bella.
I know.
Like
no,
she's Mike's.
yeah,
Mike.
I know.
but then there's the guy that nearly hit her too, like
Tyler.
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 Fucking Tyler. I'm like, what the fuck
Tyler
are you
just
doing?
telling. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
And then I literally wrote down, like, just for you, Jay. I wrote it in Spanish.
Oh my god.
I wrote it in Spanish.
She put pobrecito. Oh my god.
Because it said
We
Mike
tried.
kept up a string of compliments on the way to building 4. And I just said, pobrecito.
Pobrecito.
A commercial for hair.
You're good at this.
Also, how does he have a musical voice?
Sing-songy would be the closest like
Yeah.
descriptor.
But all he said was hello. Like, if he had said, like, a full sentence, I would understand.
Maybe like,
Hello.
is it
You're looking for.
Hello from the other
No,
side.
no, it's never that
is
one.
the-
Hello from
That is
the
the-
otter slide.
Oh my god.
But how did he look like he just finished shooting a commercial for hair gel? Like,
because he's
if
perfect.
It's, like, wet and,
Yeah.
like, I don't know. She just
It's just
perfect.
reinstating that he's perfect.
his flawless lips, like just the descriptions that I get.
imagine
Most
nice
of my notes
full
are like
lips.
that.
In my head, Edward's.
There's a lot of like fucking hungry,
barf.
hungry Bella. Bella's very
she's
hungry.
thirsty.
She is very
And
like
imagine the musical voice is like, hello.
every
Kinda
time.
Like a purr instead,
she's
though.
like, oh,
Yeah, the entire
Yeah.
time she's like screaming.
She's
like
a virgin, okay?
every.
Me too, but
She's
like.
no, you're not.
What the fuck?
Bitch. First of all, there will be no lies on this podcast. But
I'm a virgin.
fucking.
I drink virgin drink. No, I don't.
no,
I've never gotten drunk a day in my life.
no, ma'am. No,
Not a
ma'am.
single night.
I won't even bring up your birthday.
Oh.
I was very nice to everybody.
Is this
You were
the
nice.
Tea podcast now?
Teapaka.
Tea
T-Baka.
podcast? I'm sorry, I can't speak
T-Baka.
English.
Chewbacca?
Chewbacca. Except it's like, it's the sound the fucking
Yeah.
kettle makes when it's done.
Yeah, okay, no.
These
Yes,
notes
ma'am.
that I have are just like, she's like, I looked away awkwardly and I wrote, your only state of being. I'm like there is no time when
Like,
she's not
honestly, like, Bella's so awkward and she's always thirsty and she's always got her panties, like, all the way crushed against the floor.
Yes!
There's a fucking crater down there at this point.
And I have to say on page 44, when he's like, 43, 44, when he's introducing himself. Bitch, you just tried to run out of class, like...
Yes, and you were
Actually,
so
he did.
mean.
He did
He
run out of class.
sprinted out.
He barely controlled himself from using a super speed.
And he's like
Yeah,
clenching the
gripping
table.
fucking table.
Well,
How bad
He
apparently-
also said, he said ladies first partner, and I was just like, in my head, I was like, is he a cowboy? Ladies first partner, and I know it's because they were lab partners, but
Yeah.
like...
But, like, at the same time, like, we know that, well, from future readings, we know that he is having issues controlling himself in front of Bella.
Yeah,
Yes, but
because
just
of the
imagine
whole
what it
thing.
looks like from her perspective
Oh
at this
my
point in
God,
time.
like,
Yeah.
Like the whiplash, honestly.
For real.
But, I mean, honestly, they're so, like, shut off when they're next to each other. They're like, oh, I feel so much feelings with you. And then she's like, hey.
Yeah. They're both tsunderes.
I actually have that a note.
Well,
As
I
a
was
note,
like-
Bella is a tsundere.
I was like, I don't blame her, though, for being shut off, though, because...
I would be too, yeah.
Yeah, plus...
But
What do
then
you
the
mean?
panties are
Also-
already on the
That's
fucking floor.
what's killing
They
me.
might be on the floor, but her legs are still closed.
Barely!
Barely, but she's trying.
It's only because she's like, he doesn't want me.
Yes!
He doesn't
He
want
was
me.
mean
Well,
and
but-
no.
But
If he
she's
was
also
mean.
a little confused. It does say she's a little confused about how fucking mean he is, and then how, like, you know...
Wondering
That-
if I was mentally
Okay.
competent. I said, I'm wondering that too.
I'm actually gonna ask this now. I have it as a note later. Honest question: do people like to have a threatening partner?
Yes.
Really?
I am so turned on when I'm threatened.
Like, honestly,
There's one point earlier, and I didn't read the note because I was trying to
There's-
not go through all of my notes. But there's one part. Hold on.
I wouldn't say threatening, but I'd say that we like the era of danger.
like,
she's talking-
bully, slightly mean, threatening, like in that space, like.
This
Okay,
is just a
here's
part.
what it is. So the end of the first day, when she back in chapter 1, I didn't read this because I was trying to like go through without reading
Uh-huh.
every single note.
Okay.
There's the point where she goes at the end of the day to return the signed teacher slips, and he's talking to the receptionist lady about changing his class. His face was absurdly handsome with piercing, hate-filled eyes. I wrote, why are you so obsessed? For an instant, I felt the thrill of genuine fear, and I just wrote, kinky.
Yeah.
Because
Those might be
let
the
me
kinks.
tell you, when I am afraid, my panties are moist.
But, you know, I also wrote that as a note as a... Edward gaslights Bella twice. His eyes on the cars. Because that's how you get the ladies.
Yes. Yes.
You
Wait.
gaslight them.
Yeah. Okay. So, future note.
No.
I'm gonna post myself with
God.
my broadsword and gun.
Oh, please, dude. Please.
All right,
No!
Jay. The leg is up. The pants are coming off. Yes. And we're ending the podcast.
What has this podcast brought?
All right, podcast. We'll be right back.
That was
And
it.
we're back after this break.
Wow, that was quick.
Well, it has been a long time for you, huh, Jay?
They come back and Jay's voice is deeper.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, guys.
I'm sorry, guys. I gotta go take a nap.
I'm good.
I'm tired. I'm all the way on... Well, I don't know all the way on page 69, but I also wrote...
Nice!
Okay, so page 49, because I know you have notes about this too.
Okay.
I don't know if you wrote them down, but I know you have thoughts on them.
Where are they at?
It says, so page 49, she stayed, talking about her mom and why she decided to move. She stayed with me at first, but she missed him. It made her unhappy, so I decided it was time to spend some quality time with Charlie. And I said, making your kid responsible for your feelings.
Yeah,
I don't think she does it on purpose, but she definitely made Bella the parent. I know she didn't do it on purpose, but she did.
Bella even talks about her becoming the parent because of how
even if it isn't her quote unquote intention, like still doing it is not okay.
And
like,
agreed. And I didn't like
kid
that.
More.
What?
Care about your kid.
Like that's the thing. Like you care about Dick more than your fucking child, your fucking offspring. Like come on.
This is a hate podcast for Bella's fucking mom.
What is her name?
Renee.
Fuck Renee.
That's right.
Yeah, fuck Renee.
You will remember her name at the end of Breaking Dawn because it's the stupidest name.
Yeah.
I've ever
fucking
seen
hate
in
that
my
name.
I hate
You nicknamed my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster?
And see, the nickname cute.
I did like the nickname. I liked her nickname more than her full name.
I fucking hate her full name.
I think it's
I'll
so
tell you now because
stupid.
I don't know when we'll get to it.
Renesmee. She names her daughter Renesmee.
She combined the first name of her mom
with
the
Edward's
first name of Edward's mom to Renesmee.
Because Edward's mom's name is Esme. So, Renesmee.
That's fucking detestable.
Her daughter gets given the nickname Nessie, and she's mad about it.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Nessie's a cute name. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yeah.
I love the Loch Ness Monster.
But still.
I love Nessie. More than Renesmee.
Get out of here. Go.
And then on the next page, on page 50, it says he smiled widely, flashing a set of perfect ultra white teeth. And I just wrote down, toothpaste commercial?
Yeah. Where's the Colgate?
Yeah, Colgate. I was trying to think of a toothpaste brand name. Crest whitening strips?
And so now we're pretty much on chapter 3, except that I wrote...
Okay.
Let's see. Lucky for the Toyota, I stomped on the brake in time. It was just the sort of car that my truck would make scrap metal out of. She was trying to go out of her parking spot at the very, very last page of chapter 2. I stared straight ahead as I passed the Volvo, but from a peripheral peek, I would swear I saw him laughing. I said, probably, you're a moron. She just almost hit another car in the parking lot because she was so busy staring at her future boyfriend.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
So I was like, of course, if anybody who saw that would be laughing. I would be laughing.
Exactly. Like, fucking...
Like, the way that it's worded says, like, it's supposed to be some kind of, like, oh, you know, he can see things he's not supposed to. Like, just the way that Stephanie Meyer worded it, I think, felt like that. And I was like, anybody would be laughing at you. You're fucking stupid.
And the fact that, like, just before that, like, or just after that, another fucking big accident happens.
Yes.
Like, and I wrote down, this is probably, my only other note for chapter 3. Well, this could have ended here. No more pain and cringe. But nope, Ed had to save his girl.
Yes!
Like,
yes! Oh my god.
Please let Bella die.
I wrote down just underneath the page. It doesn't have anything to do with anything like specific. Just underneath the page 54. Why is she already so obsessed? They've interacted twice, and only one of them was pleasant.
Yeah, only one of them.
And already she's like obsessed.
That's why I'm asking. Why do you want someone that's mean and threatening?
You know, during this time, a lot of young adult novels were like this.
This is literally a Wattpad book. This literally looks like and feels like it came out of Wattpad.
Yeah.
This is all I know.
The entire
fucking horrible smut.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that there's this part where she's like talking about like how she's so interesting here. She said possibly my crippling clumsiness was seen as endearing rather than pathetic. I said no, it's still fucking pathetic. Like,
she can't walk.
why can't she walk?
She can't do anything physical.
No, she's like...
Anything physical. Like, going from here to that door over there, she would trip.
Yes, I'm like, I get that she has to be, like, the not athletic girl, but why does it have to be taken to such an extreme?
Even then, you could be clumsy and still, like, be able to function as a human being. Like, this is way extreme.
Making it down an icy brick driveway, I've seen so many fail army videos of people just walking outside, I guess, when it's icy and just slipping.
Yeah.
And she's from Phoenix.
But this isn't even specifically about the ice. Like, it's just a constant thing.
Sorry, I think I'm on the wrong page.
Well, no, I just mean, like, it's a constant thing throughout,
No,
like,
it
all
is a
of
constant
this.
thing.
She even talks about how she was so clumsy in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. I just meant this part. This part I understand, the icy part.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
but I mean, like, endearing clumsy is not this either.
It's not this. She is not a new baby deer.
Yeah.
No. And
baby
it's just
deer
excessive.
Is adorable.
So on page 56 is when we finally get to that car accident, which honestly, I kind of wish that's why the book had ended.
Yes. I wish it was only 40 pages.
You know Edward would have turned Bella and then he would have turned her and then this would have been he would have
ate the bitch.
He
would have ate the bitch.
They would have left because of how many people were there. How many people were present.
No, he would have turned her. Maybe not right there. But he's so fast. He could whisk that bitch away.
No.
And then they could just leave.
I don't think so.
I think at
this point, since he was still trying to get away.
Ed this is too soon. This is the first event where they actually have something that connects them. Other than
at this
point, pleasant conversation and all of a bunch of hateful, fucking spiteful.
Because
all right.
He could have put her in his car. He could have.
But why?
Also, everyone else would notice. Oh, she was here. We thought she got hit. All of a sudden, she just fucking disappeared.
He doesn't have to say. He doesn't have to do it sneakily. He could be like, "I'm taking her to the hospital to see my fucking surgeon father." My doctor.
And at this point, he's still trying to. At this point, he's still trying to control himself and still trying to keep away from her. I don't think at this point.
Yeah, he's still
if she fucking exploded, she would have get smushed. She would have. Blood would be everywhere.
There would be no physical body for him to
those vampires would have dipped. 100% they would have dipped.
I think
because they would be worried about them like losing control.
Don't they heal up though as they turn?
Yes, but
there would be
no reason. There would be no reason for them to go.
If you pronounce her dead and then just go get her from the morgue.
Why though?
What do you mean why?
Why?
He has no reason to do that yet. He's not obsessed with her as much.
He's obsessed with her.
No, he's not.
Okay, wait, hold on.
This is chapter 3.
Back in middle school.
Back
up.
Back, I say.
Elite part of Stephanie Meyer's novel that came out 14 years later. It's now on shelves now, but it talks about how obsessed Edward is with Bella the first time he smells her.
It's not in this book.
It's not in this book. Stay with this book.
It's still in the book
because it's not canon.
It is canon.
Fuck your canon.
It is canon.
We're canoning only this book right now.
It's still canon.
No,
it's still canon because that's why he even
I think
later.
this is extra evidence that doesn't apply to the current situation.
Correct.
He talks about it later.
And 2000% the situation that Ed is in.
He talks about it later with her smell.
2 minutes.
He talks about it later with his smell.
Exactly. That's the problem.
That's still canon.
He wants to eat the bitch, not fucking love her yet.
Not exactly.
Well, I just think because he's still currently maybe not necessarily because
he's trying to resist, but what I'm saying is what is stopping him from changing her later if he can. If he has a possibility.
Well, honestly, I would
cover your ears.
Wade
agrees with me.
I don't think so.
2000% he wouldn't have saved her.
Either way, I wish that either way.
I think there's too many rules to the vampire coven bullshit.
No, there's
currently she is not an exception to the rule.
Nope.
Anyways, so moving on.
Had this happened 6 chapters later, I would 100% agree with you. But it didn't. This is the first time.
So, also, I would like to say, I wrote down, why is the first thing that she noticed where Edward was standing when the truck was coming? Because she's talking about all the things that she noticed when the adrenaline is flowing. I'm like, why is that the first thing you notice? However, when you go back and the...
What are you doing?
What are you writing?
Prove Jay and Haley wrong later.
So...
Because the unfortunate of this
All right.
is I love Twilight.
Oh,
or I used to
God.
love Twilight. I should say
So,
used to love Twilight. It was so
she
upset.
says that, how did you get over here so fast? The car comes at her. He saves her.
Yeah.
She says, how did you get over here so fast? He says, I was standing right next to you, Bella. I wrote, we love a gaslighting king.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I wrote.
He was so... She even noticed he was standing
Okay.
4 cars down from me, staring at me in horror.
So this is where my issues with, like, stalking come into effect.
Oh, yeah.
Because Ed is clearly very much stalking Bella, like, from the get-go, pretty much.
Oh, you don't even know the half of
No.
it.
Yeah,
Wait
like,
till we get to that part.
Just
like,
wait.
It's a little creepy.
It's so bad.
it's
a little.
no, a little creepy. This is not okay.
You don't
Just,
know the half
he's
of it.
gaslighting her
The-
already.
Oh, I know that. No.
And for this
I
to
just seen
be
later.
something that is good because it's in a protagonist that wants to get with the girl, like, that's not okay. No one wants to be stalked so they can be quote-unquote saved.
And yet
all
we're
the way.
defending Mike Newton?
No, we're not.
No, we're not.
I know,
No, we're
just-
not.
I
What?
just- it's just a joke.
Who defended
My
Mike?
God, it was a joke.
I only said that Bella shit on the poor boy.
Where though? I want
You-
to see that where that's at because I didn't get that at all.
There's
But
several
maybe it's
times.
from like.
No.
She's just not very nice to him.
I
Yeah.
think she's just awkward.
No.
she's
They
just
argue a
straight up
lot
not
too
nice.
because he's like, oh, "You like Edward Cullen?"
And she's like, it's none of your business, Mike.
Well, that's
It's
just
none of
my-
your business.
And then there was another time where Mike was like, "Oh, why don't you just come out with us?" And she's like, "No, fuck you. I can do what I want." And
Yeah.
legitimately,
Like,
she
I'm not
can.
going to the dance, Mike.
But at the same time,
Well,
like,
because everyone kept pressuring her with
that's
the
the
dance.
thing. That's the thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, you should like get a boy," and it shouldn't be Edward.
She's like, I'm getting the one that none of y'all can get.
No.
I'm getting the one that's gonna eat
That's
me.
the real reason. Everybody be jealous, though.
Yeah.
It's true. I wrote down every time he gaslighted her. Gaslit? Like when she says, you were by your car, his expression turned hard. No, I wasn't. Gaslighting.
Hard.
Yeah.
Man!
Oh, I also wrote on page 69, Bella admits how
Nice.
aware of Edward
Nice.
she is. Nice. That's what I wrote.
Another note for the Bella is a tsundere, a gothy emo tsundere. I forgot to add
Oh my
that
God, yes,
qualifier.
she
Like,
really is.
God, like she's
I'm
the.
surprised she doesn't dress in all black.
That's what's killing me about this. She's like got all the emotion and personality, but she's like not got the drip, and I'm like, why?
Yes. I'm like, why can you not
Oh, yeah, I
look
also
like a
wrote-
cute-ass alt girl?
Yeah, I wrote,
Please.
Bella's balance is like a newborn fawn. How has she survived? I mean, I'm clumsy, but goddamn. I was like, I don't care how beautiful you are. If you're a dick, I want nothing to do with you. Bella is a simp.
Bella,
She's
really
my
is.
friends.
honestly, no. She's just because she's not paying the guy.
Also,
Being a simp doesn't mean you have to pay.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the qualifiers.
No, being a
It's
simp is
not.
just doing things.
Being a ship?
A simp. Being a simp is just doing things for that person.
Yeah.
Okay,
It
but she
doesn't
doesn't do
necessarily
anything for
involve-
him either. What does she do?
She would do anything
No,
you
she
asked her
wouldn't.
to do.
No, she would not.
Yes,
she
she would.
literally
She would.
questions him every time. He's like, "Don't do this. Stay away from me."
Yes, because
Well,
she
yeah,
wants to be. Because
yeah.
all of them are him pushing her away. If he asked her to do anything where she could still be with him, like she would do it in a heartbeat.
She would do
She
it.
is a
She
100%
literally,
a simp.
she literally keeps himself from touching him sometimes. Like, I don't believe
Because
that.
she thinks he doesn't want to.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with her desire.
'Cause if you
It is
go
all
back
because of
You know what?
because
That's
he
that's
pulls
actually
away.
a good thing to point out. That's
'Cause I was
actually a
like,
good
if
thing
you go
about.
back again to the first time they met, he was all like,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and at one point they do touch, like like when he's handing
Well,
her the
he-
microscope slides.
I actually
They
hate
touch, and she touches.
later.
and he
Later,
just goes,
they're
"Here, hand down. They go and they touch like briefly when he's passing over the microscope slide, and he just
the finger touch. Oh.
yeah, and
Well, yeah,
she
but
like,
he, like,
yanks
yeah.
them away.
No, but I hate later on that they're like physical touching for the day is him going.
Yes, that's so fucking weird.
Like,
and it's
just-
silent. He doesn't say anything.
Like every time.
Bella.
Just every time. It's straight up like touch leaves.
He's like,
Like
He doesn't say anything. And he's just
you know, he
and
has
she's fucking into it. Are you
screaming her
Yeah,
pants.
She's
that's so
like,
much-
oh.
Are we being too loud for the mic?
No, probably not.
She's creaming
It's
her
probably
pants.
good.
Also, when they're in the
Janitor will
hospital,
deal with
can
it.
I just say, she goes, maybe you should take it easy today. And I glanced at Edward. Does he get to go to school? I'm like, what kid what kid gets to go to school? Let me rephrase. In America, in Washington State, what kid gets to go to school instead of has to go to school?
That's true, actually. Like
Does he get to go to school? You don't like people staring at you, but yet after a car accident, you want to go back to school.
Because she wants to spend time with them.
But I'm like, if you were thinking about anything other than getting your dick wet,
She's
you
not.
would
She's
know.
not.
That's the worst
That's
part.
the only thing
That's
she's
the
thinking
worst
about.
part. She's really,
Well, plus-
really thirsty
plus,
for this man,
I
but
guess
she
she
won't do
goes-
anything.
Imagining Charlie trying to be attentive.
I think
Because
he's
imagine-
trying.
He could be, but imagine how awkward. Those two, I see where she gets
Can you-
her awkwardness from.
Oh yeah, no, I love that she even says that like she has a lot of Charlie in her as opposed to a lot of like Renee, because
Yeah.
like she recognizes that they're similar in that
So
way.
I can also imagine being like, no, get me out
Honestly,
of this house.
if seeing Charlie at the hospital bed, he would probably just be sitting there super worried, and then she'll wake up and he'll be like,
Bella, you good?
yeah,
You watch the game?
I was worried.
Um,
I was here the entire time, and that's it.
And they're talking in, you know how she pulls him off, she pulls Edward off to the side to talk to him in private to try to get the answer about the car thing.
What page?
Page 65. You think I lifted a van off of you? His tone questioned my sanity, but it only made me more suspicious. It was like a perfectly delivered line by a skilled actor. I crossed out actor and wrote narcissist. I merely nodded once, jaw tight. Nobody will believe that, you know. His voice held an edge of derision now. I said abusive behavior from the start. Nobody will believe you, you know.
That's
But I guess he's trying to cover his tracks.
This is
Yes.
why I have that question, because
But
like
yeah,
it's not.
I see why.
This a lot of the fucking writing in this is not okay.
No, it's
not
not.
okay, and this is something that is, and this is why I
I've
said.
read well-written vampire books where they're not abusive assholes.
Like, this is why I said, like, and this is product placement, because this book has a lot of things that are endemic to what media does to people, like, in general.
It's so...
Like...
And, like, in middle school, I'm not going to lie. Look,
This
I
was
get
the time of emo, too.
I get
Yes.
that Stephanie Meyer was not intending this, but with how obsessed with this book series I was when I was younger, if this had been written where he wasn't so... Honestly, if he wasn't so, like, mentally and emotionally abusive to her, I guarantee you that there's at least one relationship I would have stayed out of. Because this book was so
yeah.
pivotal.
Sorry.
Yeah, go.
Just him, you can't wait for someone's abusive behavior to go away.
Oh,
That's
no,
the other
I'm not
thing.
excusing
That's
it.
the
I'm
thing.
not-
I feel like
that's
him
the
getting
thing.
better-
And this
I'm not excusing it.
that saying that is giving that into people's heads.
I
Like,
honestly feel
they'll
like-
get better later if you wait on
Yes,
them.
I was
Like,
gonna say, I honestly feel like the last two books, the second two books, the second half of the series where he gets better, I feel like is almost worse than if he stayed abusive. Because that
Oh, that
basically
hope,
is like,
I guess.
Yeah.
yes, like keeping that hope alive, like, oh, he's like this now, but so was Edward, and he turned into like this super great guy, this super awesome, you know, partner, and blah, blah, blah. But like, honestly, that's not realistic. People who act like this in the beginning will not change.
I am so
Yeah.
glad that I am not the contrarian in this situation, because I see a lot of bullshit in this book.
Yeah, no.
And this is We Hate Twilight podcast.
This really is, except for Gassy.
Gassy.
I was like,
Um,
rereading it again, like, of course I see a bunch of flaws and stuff.
Well, it's
but
like now
still,
that I'm
like,
watching
nostalgic.
Ouran High School Host Club again, like, it's very cringy.
Oh my god.
It's so cringy.
You
but I
know,
love
I
it.
couldn't believe
It's-
how in love with the twins I was.
I've been told that I am, honey, so, you know,
Fair
it
enough.
happens.
I
I will
you
say
Why you're
us-
trying to get us to read The Secret Life of Bees.
Oh.
What?
Because
I
you
said-
like honey.
Because you're honey.
I have bees everywhere, dude.
Why did you slap your leg?
Because I have a bee
She's got-
tattoo right
She's
here.
got a pocket full of bees.
I was about to say, are you about to
Welcome
throw
to
some
Applebee's.
bees?
Do you want apples or bees?
You know what I
I
imagine?
didn't use
The
that.
Elmo like meme where he's like bees.
continuing.
All right, so we were on chapter 4, I believe, right?
At least that's the spot that I rested on. I'm not really sure.
I'm in chapter 3.
Oh, never mind.
And then I don't know what page this is real quick, but
I'm at the end of chapter 3.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of chapter 3, she's like super, like, you told Mom? And in my head, I'm like, yes, you were in a car accident.
But teenagers are like that.
Well, but I'm like, she sounded surprised rather than angry. But either way, I'm like, yes, your child?
Still. Oh my god, I see that note.
No, you don't.
I do.
That was the first night I dreamed of Edward Cullen.
But with how dramatic her mom is. I'm sorry, though. If Mom... I don't want to say if Mom cared that much.
Mm-hmm.
I would.
But Renee really just made it obvious how much she'd rather be with Phil.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, the fact that she was, like, in hysterics... But then made me feel like toxic mom syndrome is what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
honestly,
helicopter mom till, like, you're there and then she's gone.
Mm-hmm. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yep.
Object permanent.
The ADHD.
ADHD,
bitch.
I don't know what HD is, but a doctor says I got 80 of them.
Yeah.
I think she's just too preoccupied with a Phil dick. Let's be real. She's not.
Look, it obviously runs in the family to be.
Oh, you know what? Oh my
honestly,
god, you're right.
To throw away everything for Dick.
Yeah, because Bella's like, ooh, Ed.
Give me that cold dick.
There's even a spot.
Oh my god.
In chapter 4 where she says no one else watched him the way I did. How pitiful. I said, it is pitiful.
I'm trying to see. The only next note I have, and I'm not even sure where it came from, was, well, I'm sure it's somewhere in the next chapter or something, is, I don't know why I never made the connection, but Bella thinks of Batman and Peter Parker, and the science teacher's name is Mr. Banner. Nerd.
What?
The science teacher's name is Mr. Banner. Like Bruce Banner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the Hulk, right? Okay, I don't know why I thought of Bruce Wayne.
What kind of nerd?
I thought of Bruce Wayne, okay? I like Bruce Wayne
Do
better.
not talk with your mouth full. You're ruining my podcast.
I'm ruining your podcast.
You're ruining everything.
There's a part where she says, I suspected that Jessica enjoyed my inexplicable popularity more than my actual company.
You said not to eat while people were dying. You kept going like this.
Yeah.
While you were trying, she was... Oh my god.
I was actually waiting for Gassy's reaction, to be honest with you.
How dare you. What page are you on?
71.
69.
Nice.
Aren't we always on 69?
Yeah, we're never going to leave page 69.
Emotionally, we are on page 69.
69 Landia.
71.
But it says, I suspected that Jessica enjoyed my inexplicable popularity more than my actual company. I said, duh, your company is shit.
Yes.
She has all the when it comes to those people, when
you know,
like Jessica, Angela, Mike, Eric, she has all the personality of a wet dish rag.
Yeah,
you know, like,
at least they have
that's
some life.
looking at it from like the reverse perspective, because we've all been talking about how like this would affect someone's like a girl's perspective for a relationship. Like this also isn't good for a guy's relationship perspective either, because we got Bella, who's a complete bitch in her head. And
she's just
is completely boring personality-wise, but is super hot. That's
like,
what we want.
It could.
That's
no,
all we
apparently
want.
She's not.
She could be.
That's what she thinks, but everyone wanted to fuck her. Mm-hmm. Apparently,
she could be that bookworm type of. I love Wuthering Heights. I love classical music. I love Pride and Prejudice. But no, instead it's more like you said earlier, like pretentious. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm from the city where I can't tan. I'm albino, but I'm not really.
Fuck off.
Oh, here's page 72 is where she gives Mike some shit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go.
When he was like, oh, Jessica asked me to the dance, but I told her I'd have to think about it. And she goes, why would you do that? Like, he doesn't know that, he's oblivious to the fact that Jessica likes him.
No, she just said that's great, I'll have a lot of fun. I told her I had to think about it, and then she's like, why would you do that?
I let disapproval color my tone.
Well, yeah, but I felt it was more like, why would you do that? Like,
I read it more as like, why would you do that?
Like, yeah,
no. I didn't read it like
definitely
that at all.
No. She was disapproving of the decision. Like,
well, yes, it says I let this disapproval, but it was like, but why would you do that? Like,
that doesn't sound like disapproval to me, though.
No, it doesn't.
That sounds like confusion.
Yeah.
Well,
to me, disapproval is more like,
Why
why
would-
would you do that?
Yeah.
see, I thought it was more like, cause
She's definitely like...
because though I was relieved he hadn't given her an absolute no, was more like, why would you do that? Like, what I felt, I guess, being someone
You
who
felt wrong!
You're wrong. Is that her stomach dropped because she doesn't want him to ask her.
That's exactly
She
right.
doesn't want to reject him.
But she let instead of just letting
See,
instead of just being
here's the
like,
thing.
oh, why
I guess
would you
because it
do
says
that?
color my tone instead of me like being an outright like. See, I just didn't think it was that harsh.
No, definitely, like, she doesn't want to have anything to do
I
with
definitely think it was harsh.
Mike. Yeah. She doesn't want
don't
anything to
think
do with
so.
Mike.
I read it as harsh.
I don't
In
think
this
so.
house, Bella hates Mike.
In this house.
Plus, it's not. He didn't get hurt right after that. He just got like embarrassed, but he was also just about to ask her.
Exactly. That's the problem.
So that's why I don't think it was a. Why would
his
you do
face
that?
was bright red, and he looked down again. Pity shook my resolve. I was wondering if, well, you might be planning
Yeah.
to ask me. Like, to me, that sounds like a kicked puppy.
Well, I don't know. Like,
To me,
I
that
thought
sounds
it was
like
like
he was-
like ooh, like I don't know. I
No.
read it
You're-
differently.
That's because you're a Twilight apologist.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, you
Yes.
No, I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
are.
I'm just as. I didn't start reading the book full of hate.
Also,
I didn't
Kick-Ass.
either. I mean, I'm expecting to have a bad time,
I
but
was
I don't
expecting
hate
to
it.
have a nice nostalgic
Trip?
trip.
Didn't you say from the beginning you were like, I'm ready to roast this book?
No, that was me.
Yeah, that was Jay.
I was ready to fucking wreck this book, honestly.
Also, at one point she says, sorry, no, you shouldn't make Jess wait any longer. It's rude. And I said, you're one to talk. You're so rude. Also, what's with the shifting her hair? She's like, anytime something happens, she's like, oh,
It's her towel.
pull my hair down.
It's her towel.
Oh, pull my hair
It's
down.
her towels. People have towels.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's...
Roast the book for
Plus,
good reasons.
I really didn't think she was harsh to him.
I do.
No,
Plus,
honestly.
I think it was more like, Mike, I think you should tell her yes. Like,
No, it was Mike, tell her yes, so I don't have to tell you no. Like,
Yeah.
she
But
was
then she
trying to
was-
give signals and it didn't work.
So,
I don't know. I don't think she was that harsh.
well,
She's too awkward to be that harsh.
that's in your reality. Your brain, your
Fucking
circumstances.
gassy cannon.
Your brain, your circumstances.
Gassy cannon. Official gassy cannon.
Official
go.
Gassy cannon.
Gassy
I
is the
just
only
see him
Twilight
being ganged
apologist.
up on over here.
I mean,
Maybe
you're the one
that's-
who's apologizing.
I'm not I just don't think it was. I don't think she was that harsh. But anyway,
Sure.
what's your next note?
So, page 75. They're talking, and he's like, "Do you think I regret saving your life?" She said, "I know you do." But then, like, she's like walking out, and she's trying to be all cool, and she trips because of fucking course
Yeah.
she does.
But
And
that's
then
just
this
funny.
just goes back to what Jay was saying earlier about like how they interact with each other. He handed them. I sighed and bent to pick them up. He was there. He'd already stacked them into a pile. He handed them to me, his face hard. "Thank you," I said icily.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes narrowed. "You're welcome." He retorted like
That's the thing. Like,
Yeah, 'cause they just got into
this
an
is not what normal people do when they
No,
want to fuck,
it's not.
or they want to get into a relationship in general. Like,
Or even
I'm
it's not even
being
how
extreme.
people act when they just like honestly, if a normal teenager would just watch that happen, I'm talking about normal, like not Bella's part, but
Average.
Edward's part. Well, I mean, like Edward's
Yeah, I
part. Like if I
remember.
got into an argument with someone and they dropped their books, I would not sit there and help them pick it up. Not in high school. I would not have sat there after an argument and helped her pick up her books.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know. It
I
it-
wouldn't have.
It
Maybe I'm
depends.
Because they do
It
like
depends.
each other,
It depends.
but they
Yeah.
also,
If
like,
if
They
if
just
it's
got
like,
into an argument, but they do also
because
like
like
each other.
another thing we're kind of like told that is okay is that they tease you because they like you. They
Plus, y'all don't remember
they
having
bully
those
you because they
friends
like you, and
Or
that's
still having those friends who have like boyfriends right now or husbands that like they constantly yell at each other or fight. Or,
Yeah.
like,
I hate that.
yeah.
It makes me so uncomfortable and triggers my flight or fright.
Me too.
Like, a fight
it's
response.
it's like why you've been
Why do
trained.
y'all argue so much?
Why you've also trained to be for this to be normal is the other problem.
Yeah.
Like it's not okay.
Yes. So
Yes.
we finally get to the part
Mhm.
where he blocks her in the parking lot.
Mhm.
And first of all, she
Page.
says 77, the next page. She says several times that she wants to take out the rear end of his Volvo, and in my head I'm like, do you have Volvo fixing money? You
No,
don't.
but I understand that
but
sentiment.
it's
I get the sentiment, but she's like, I could, and I'm like, yes, but also
No.
be
she-
pragmatic. You
No.
don't have Volvo fixing
She
money.
didn't do it though.
But
she
at the
didn't
bottom-
do it.
So Tyler asks her to prom or to the dance.
Teeler.
Will you go with me to the spring dance? He continued. I'm not going to be in town, Tyler. My voice sounded a little sharp. I had to remember it wasn't his fault that Mike and Eric had already used up my quota of patience for the day. And I get that she's antisocial, but why is she so against people liking her?
Well, it's more like she doesn't like them.
Well, that's fine, but
And I
like,
really think she can't handle that awkwardness.
That's
like how
just the
Ron
thing.
can't
Seems very
handle
harsh
her
about
comedy,
Yeah.
which
And I mean, it's multiple people doing that to you in the same day. Like,
well,
she's
like, I don't
tired
know,
of
she
it
just
too.
She just feels very harsh about it. Like
No,
she's
she is.
well, and she
You're
also,
not wrong.
She acts this way with the girls too. Like they don't like outright like have crushes on her, you know. But like she's very like standoffish about people wanting to spend time with her
No.
at all.
No.
she's just a loner.
Well, how long did it take for them to actually go somewhere with the girls? Like,
A few
A
chapters.
while.
yeah, like,
10 chapters.
and they're supposedly hanging out, lunch, school, all that time, and she's just
Plus,
like, no.
this is supposed to be the girl's choice.
Yeah.
And I know the guys are kind of like puppy dogs, so like I don't want to like fault them for it. But it is supposed.
No, I'm agreeing
Oh,
with you.
I was like-
that's
I
like,
thought that was a
oh, you're
disagreement,
right.
and
No,
I
that
was
was like,
like, what do you mean?
What do you
you're
mean?
right.
It says like 7 times it's girl's choice.
Yeah, I know. I was
no,
like,
no.
Are you telling me that I'm wrong?
Are you gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong?
It's a girl's choice. It came down in bubbles.
She wore a tiara and came down in a bubble, dog.
Like, yeah, and it's a girl's choice, and it's like they're rejecting. Maybe she also possibly feels bad for the other girls
Like,
because it's also putting her in an awkward position with them because the girls are also like kind of catty.
yeah, because the
They
girls
are. They're
want
so catty.
they want to go with these guys, but they're not. They're also like asking, and the guys are like, oh, I guess, like, what the fuck, bro? There's only 400 people in this place, so you don't have much choice here.
We are recording, right?
Yes, I am.
I don't know why.
checked.
I had a
So-
small fear.
I just realized that we haven't been saying a whole lot about like what's actually happening in the book.
No,
So
we've been moving on to fuck the premise of the book.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Um,
Let's keep moving chapter wise.
So, I do have one little note that says jubilant. Someone knows how to use a thesaurus.
That's apparent. Like
she just uses her dictionary and her thesaurus a lot. Way to
But
go,
here's the
Stephanie Meyer.
thing.
Who does? You.
who does that? Who does?
Good job.
You're patting the table. Wade's getting excited.
He's like, oh, I am good. I'm jubilant.
Oh my god. But that's
so-
real quick before we move on from that.
Yeah.
The problem with that for me is that you're writing a teenage girl that is this verbose with her vocabulary. Like,
True.
It's. I feel like this is not how a normal teenage person would think.
Yeah. No, not at all.
There's not enough likes in here.
There's not enough whatever.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
stuff and So she's talking to Jess about how Mike said that they would go to the dance together. She hung up. She's trying to cook dinner. She's trying to figure out why Edward likes her. She decides that she can leave him alone. 79. I'm just kind of catching up with what's going on in the book. I did think it was really cute when she said it was fun to watch as Charlie slowly began trusting me in the kitchen. I just thought that was a cute little father-daughter bonding moment.
You're just a Charlie stan, we know.
I am, but it was a cute father-daughter
You're
moment.
just a Charlie stan.
I
Come on,
am.
look at that little heart right there.
Yeah.
Isn't there a part where he was cooking spaghetti and he didn't know how to cook spaghetti?
I think that was in the movie.
Was that in the movie?
I think so.
Okay.
No, yeah, because I'm
Or
pretty
maybe
sure
that's later in
he's
the book.
not an accomplished cook, but he's able to cook.
Because
Yeah.
in the movie, it was like she had to come down and stir the spaghetti or something, and
Maybe.
apparently he couldn't
That's a
do
movie
that.
thing. 100%. Charlie can cook.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not
We'll
well,
see.
but
Yeah, not
Um,
well.
But he can
He can make a
he can
sandwich.
heat up.
he can stir spaghetti.
There's a microwave.
Yeah,
spaghetti.
Jay,
Yeah,
there's
well-
a microwave.
Look, you haven't been to the apartment yet. You don't know how big it is. It ain't that big. Buddy, I'm just petting you.
He wants to play.
I know, no.
Wade.
Calm down.
So, then she tells him that she's not going to the dance, that she's going to Seattle. And he said, do you want me to come with you? I tried to be crafty as I hid my horror. I said, me the fuck too. Can you imagine being 17 and your dad offers to go to Seattle? It's like, no thank you. I do not want to go out of town with my father. Not when I'm trying to avoid a school dance. If it was like an actual trip and not just like a day trip.
Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Because like for me and my personal experiences, like family has always been like, let's go do something. Let's go this place. Let's go. You're going somewhere? Okay, I'm coming too. Like, that's normal for me. So, like...
Oh, see, for me, my parents... No, they did not. Like, I would be absolutely mortified if I was like, okay, I'm going to the Austin... If I was like, okay, I'm going to Austin, and my dad was like, oh, cool, do you want me to come? I would be like...
No.
No, I do not, actually.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much.
Fair enough.
So, yeah... Then we get to the next morning. I pulled into the parking lot. I deliberately parked as far away from possible as the silver Volvo. She dropped her key. She drops her key, and Edward picks it up for her. She goes, how do you do that? Do what? Appear out of thin air. Bella, it's not my fault if you're exceptionally unobservant. I wrote, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss.
Oh my god.
That's a great note.
Oh my god.
Gaslight.
Yeah, that was my gaslight note.
Because, like, she's like, your eyes were black and now they're gold. And he
so
was
they
like,
do change
no.
color. Like, I was a little confused about that.
No,
like,
they do actually change color. They're black when he's, like, super, super hungry and needs to hunt. And they're gold when he's just hunted.
Oh, okay.
In fact, you'll see with the snowball fight, they mention how he's flushed with color suddenly. And his eyes are honey.
Yeah, and that's because he's eaten.
He just ate. Okay.
Yeah. He enunciated every syllable as if he were talking to someone mentally handicapped.
Where?
Page 83.
Ooh.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, early 2000. Well, no, it was 2008, wasn't it? That's late 2000s.
Oh, yeah, I guess it was late 2000s.
Late 2000s. But still, I mean, it was more, it was different. It was different back then. Like, I don't know, like...
He doesn't...
Because that's not how you have to talk to people who's handicapped.
When he offers to take her to Seattle, like directly after that, he offers to take her to Seattle.
Wait, is this where she accepts that? Like, this is how early that happens?
But
Yeah.
can your truck make it there on 1 tank of gas? He matched my pace again. I don't see how that's any of your business, stupid shiny Volvo owner, which I thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
The wasting of finite resources is everyone's business. All of a sudden, he's an ecologist.
It's a joke.
Honestly, Edward, I can't keep up with you. I thought you didn't want to be my friend. I said it would be better if we weren't friends. Not that I didn't want to be, and I said, bump, bump, bump.
Run, bitch.
It would be more prudent for you not to be my friend, but I'm tired of trying to stay away from you, Bella. Will you go with me to Seattle?
Edward.
I couldn't speak yet, so I just nodded.
Oh.
Whiplash Central. He's a gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss master.
Yeah.
Take notes, Sigma males.
Take notes, Sigma males.
No, the Sigma males won't take notes because they don't care about wooing women.
They say that. I don't believe them.
The Sigma
They're-
males only
Sigma
care
males-
about the grind set, brother!
Sigma males are the male equivalent of the I'm not like other girls.
That's so true.
Like, oh
You know, you shouldn't talk with your mouth full. What? What's wrong?
boo.
Hypocritical. Hypocritical.
Well, I think
It's true.
who's hypocritical?
You're a hypocrite.
I don't know.
It's
I don't
you.
know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Boop.
So
that was chapter
5.
4.
Yes.
Let me make sure I said all my notes.
I was like, I don't have any more notes until 121.
Okay.
Till chapter 10.
Bella's getting a lot of attention, and the fact that she hates it is the only reason I'm not a sussy buck. And then my only note for chapter 5. Debussy.
Good pussy.
I got the pussy right here. Oh my god. So chapter 5 is they're in science.
It's Blood Day.
It's Blood Day, which, like, obviously
So
Edward's
this
not-
is the day that Edward's not here, and she's losing
wait.
her shit.
No, we're not. He's there for the beginning.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he skips class.
Also, can I just say that they want to go to the beach when it's supposed to be high 40s, and as a native Texan, that sounds horrible.
Yeah, no.
I do not go to the beach unless it's at least 85.
Note that they also don't go to the beach to swim. They're going to the beach to make a bonfire or something.
That's
yeah.
true,
That is
but
true.
like that's like just thinking about the ocean wind.
Yeah.
Seems horrible. Like
I've
it's
been
so
in
much
New
colder
Jersey
there.
in wintertime. It's not fun.
But this is the first time that Edward invites her to sit with him at lunch.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
just love, where is it? When Jessica, he caught my, on 87, when he raised one hand and motioned with his index finger for me to join him, just like, come here, my pretty. Which is also kind of hot, though, because I'm like,
Yeah, I was about to say, is that like?
not like that. Not if you're a little gremlin.
So for some reason in my head, when I was
It's got to be
reading
slow.
It's got to be
reading this
slow.
in my head,
Okay.
for some reason I pictured it like
By the way, we're doing the like come here motion with the single finger.
Well, now Haley has her hand above her head. It's just like a finger puppet. Yeah.
Red rum.
Yeah, red rum.
Red rum.
Bella.
I thought you were like trying to motion for like ringing a bell to summon her. Hello, puppet.
Oh, God.
But that's what I imagined. I didn't imagine him going like this. I
No,
imagined
that's not what's
Me
happening.
also being
Sussy Baka.
horny. And it's like, I just imagine.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure is actually what it was supposed to be. I drew a little. So, and then it said, "Does he mean you?" Jessica asked with insulting astonishment in her voice. I just drew this little face.
It's an O face, ladies and
the
gentlemen.
T.
Not an orgasm face.
Yes.
Like an
Like, yeah, no.
Like, did she really just say that?
You know,
girl, no, you did. But so yeah, then they're sitting at the table together talking. I may not give you. Oh, okay. They'll survive. I could feel their stares boring into my back. Apparently, her friends from the other table are staring at her.
Yeah, because
And
they're
it said-
jealous.
And he said, "I may not give you back, though," he said with a wicked glint in his eyes. I literally wrote down, "Middle school me died."
Yeah.
That was the
I was about to
hottest
say.
shit.
And
Yeah.
It's hot. It's still hot to me. I'm
It's,
like,
honestly,
don't do that.
if there was a guy that,
Look,
like, if I was
I think-
dating a guy and he said something like that, I'd be like, pants off now.
Take them off!
I don't care.
I
we're in the
think
cafeteria.
that's the problem with this book. There is genuinely good lines that are very horny.
And that's where you get 50 Shades of
She
Grey.
had
Exactly.
a bottle of wine near her when she was ready.
Really did.
Um,
Yes, giving up, I repeated in confusion, same page, just like literally a paragraph
Yeah.
down. Yes, giving up trying to be good. I'm just going to do what I want now and let the chips fall where they may. I wrote down possibly creepy because it's just so apparent to me how thin the line between creepy and hot is.
yes.
It is.
Like, depending on how attractive you are, what you say can either be perceived as really sexy or really creepy.
It's true.
Mhm.
It's very true.
I know that firsthand.
Do you?
Yes! Are you fucking kidding me? I am saying I'm creepy.
Do not hear the wheeze, Haley. Run. Run.
What? Do you want me to try now? Because it's gonna flop.
Oh my god, his face is so red. Do it.
No.
Do it.
No.
Do it. Pick a
no.
line. Pick
Do
a
it.
line.
Do
Pick
it.
a
Do
line.
it.
I don't got.
Say this line.
All right. I want to ham it up so bad.
No.
I may not give you back though.
No, but he did it on purpose.
Yes, I did. I did.
I know you did! But I felt my spine just go.
Yes.
Oh, what else was hot was...
I felt my clit just go.
Oh my god.
It just disappeared.
And there's nothing but
Guys,
It's Thanos. It just to oblivion.
nothing
I
but
could have a
wood.
superpower. I could make any clit disappear.
And then another hot thing was, so in plain English, are we friends now? Friends, he mused. Or not? He grinned. Well, we can try, I suppose, but I'm warning you now that I'm not a good friend for you. And I was like, ooh, you're not a good friend for me.
Well, yeah, that's
Wait,
the
what
thing.
page is that?
88.
Okay.
Not a good friend, but a good.
It was like further down.
Behind his smile, the warning was real.
Oh.
Aw.
Yeah,
Like,
again,
there's-
threatening. Like.
There's a... It's because there's
Okay.
some women love danger.
That's
And that's Isabella Swan.
I feel like actually that is a guy thing too, but like it's not. This is actual fucking danger. This
But
she doesn't know that yet.
Yeah, but it still is actual fucking
But I think
danger.
she-
Like he's being 100% serious, and she's like,
But to be fair, okay, so at this point she doesn't know yet.
True.
And so if
I think it's one more chapter, and then she gets an inkling.
Yeah. So, like, directly
She
down on
has
page 89, she
suspicions.
says, I'm trying to figure out what you are. I wrote vampire. Book over.
But she does feel the warnings, but she's just not. She just wants to get her dick with
stupid.
them because she says, trying to ignore the sudden trembling in my stomach and keep my voice.
Oh my
even.
god.
She's as a great.
How wet are your panties right now?
Says,
Jesus.
Sign me up as scared and horny.
Bella really said naked and afraid.
Yep.
That's later in the book.
So, they're talking about what she thinks he is. She says Peter Parker,
Oh, that's
Batman,
nice.
whatever.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of a temper, don't you? I don't like double standards. For both of those sentences, I said fucking same. So then they get in another argument because she says that he's a superhero, and he's like, what if I'm the bad guy?
Oh my god.
Cut to 20 years later and he's Batman.
I'm Batman.
You know what? I think that's like the best like fucking eventuality for Robert Pattinson. Is that his name?
Honestly, and I think that was like his dream role.
Was
too.
a
I think he
vampire,
said
became the
something
Bat.
about.
Yep.
I think he said something about how Batman was like his dream role. He's like, no matter what
I
you
don't
do,
believe
you cannot.
anything that comes out of that man's mouth because
Why?
he is admitted to lying in so many interviews.
Really?
Well, to be fair, if you hate the movie you're in, you can't really say that in interviews while it's still.
Well,
big.
no, about other stuff.
Oh.
Twilight's whatever.
But like he said something about he's like no. What was it? He said like no role will ever come close to this because I've wanted to be Batman since I was a little boy.
Wow.
Understandable.
Page
His
by
eyes
page.
still smoldered at me. What is he, fucking
Oh my
Flynn
God.
Rider?
Okay, hold on. His eyes do smolder with
Yes,
VFX.
but that word just makes me think of Flynn Rider.
Like,
and I know Tangled wasn't out yet, but like...
There's like so... There's
Here it is. What if I'm not the superhero? What if I'm the bad guy? I just said edgy. He's so fucking edgy. Like... And then we find out he's dipping class.
Yeah.
And we don't find out why until like a minute. I literally wrote down like 2 pages later, page 95. They find out that they're doing blood typing in class, and I wrote, that's why Eddie skipped.
Well, yeah.
Um,
So this isn't when he went to go hunt.
No, he's skipping because he didn't want to be around all that blood in the
Yeah.
classroom.
Yeah, which makes sense.
He didn't go
especially
to
if she
hunt
did it.
because she passes out at the sight of blood, or starts to, and he's there
Yeah, because he's stalking
to
her.
see Mike.
Well, he can read other people's minds.
So
from
he
a
reads
He's
my
still
distance.
stalking.
Oh, he's still stalking. He's spying.
Oh, yeah,
on
no,
them
he's
through-
definitely
through
stalking.
the little noggins.
I saw his face.
I think it's even worse that he's stalking through other people's brains.
Oh yeah, super fucking creepy. Super creepy. And I'm really glad that she gets mad at him for it later.
Yes.
But so he takes her to the nurse, much to Mike's dismay. People can't smell blood. I don't know what he's talking about because
know.
I can smell
Oh
blood.
yeah,
I
no.
can smell
Blood has a very specific
It's
scent.
a very metallic.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
iron.
So he's like, people can't smell blood. I'm like, yes, the fuck we can.
Yep.
What?
Maybe not to the level of what he can.
Yeah,
I
but,
guess,
it's-
but we can.
But we can
smell
still
blood.
smell
Definitely.
it. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm like, dude. Also, this one is another line. So he's taking her home. He tells her to get in the Volvo instead of driving herself home. They'll get the truck home. This is another line that I wrote creepy, but it's really just on the edge of creepy and hot, where he's like, where she's thinking
I got
about
you.
running from the truck, and he's like, I'll just drag you back, he threatened. And I was like, that's
He
creepy.
threatened.
I'm like, that's creepy, but also like,
Yeah, because another part of me is like, ooh, and then the other part of me is like, you want to take care of me?
Oh my god.
no, I'm just like,
you care
I'm
about
like,
me?
use force on me, daddy.
Yeah, so that's my first thought. But then my other thought is, you want to take care of me?
Wow, can you tell we're traumatized?
Trauma!
I'm just sitting here like, well, I can't be involved in this.
Oh yeah, you know Debussy? And
Yes.
I got Debussy right here.
Oh my god.
They're in the car. Also,
But you don't
what?
have a pussy. A boy pussy? You never heard of that?
Why does Jay think he can smash my dreams like this?
I don't know. It's really But wouldn't a boy pussy just be your butt?
Yes!
So
That is what a pussy is!
I do have a pussy. I do have a pussy.
No, because
Yes.
you're not a boy.
Why can't I have a pussy and a pussy? I don't understand.
welcome to our new podcast. Girls can have the pussy too.
I'm gonna fucking die!
You know the pussy? Not well.
Also, I get why he likes classical music, but
Oh, well, she says my mother plays a lot of classical music.
Okay, that makes sense.
don't
I was like,
Yeah, no, like,
so
there
she's
was
not
a reason
so
why.
pretentious.
No, there was a
She's-
reason why she
I got
likes
the
it.
pussy right here.
Oh my god.
But then he's like actually taking an interest
Although,
in her
you know,
family, which is
She's
so
so
sweet.
boring that, of course, like, she'd love Wuthering Heights.
Right?
And Wuthering Heights is not, I don't know.
What is Wuthering
I think I've
Heights?
tried to
It's
read
such
it.
it's like a book that most people had to read for like high school English class. I think it was mostly like on
See, I was
It's just
shocked.
a really boring book about like I think isn't Wuthering no that's A Tale of Two Cities. That's the best of times, the worst of times. But it's like
Yeah.
Wuthering Heights is just
the
a
worst of times. The
it's
bussy
just
times.
the pussy time.
The busy of
It's
times.
just a really fucking boring book. It's
Got
one of those
that.
books that everyone has to read for like English class.
I
I
know.
never read it, but the AP
Neither
class
did
at my
I.
school did.
That's why I'm asking.
Here.
So-
Wuthering Heights. Never mind.
Alright, very helpful.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Here
it.
we go. Here we go.
Alright.
Is an 1847 novel.
Oh
so
my
just
God.
Give you, by Emily Bront, initially published under her pen name Ellis Bells. It concerns two families of the landed gentry living on the West Yorkshire moors, the Earnshaws and the Lintons, and their turbulent relationships with Earnshaw's adopted son Heathcliff.
Well, someone's named
Heathcliff.
Heathcliff.
It's tragedy and goth.
Well,
It's not good.
no, okay, fair enough.
So what is it about though?
They're
You
yeah.
literally
I just
just said.
Yeah, but like
It's about their
more.
turmoil.
Yeah, about the relationship that doesn't work.
I looked about the
Books back
What?
then don't have like as much of a clear, concise.
Like fantasy, like sci-fi fantasy was like not even 80 years old.
Yeah,
Like a lot of current ideas, like in our
it didn't usually have like
pantheon.
a specific thing. It was just like here's this group of people you might want to know about.
exactly.
yeah.
I mean, that's what is it called? The Great Gatsby, isn't that?
Yeah,
kind of like
pretty
that.
much.
Yeah, it's just.
I thought it was okay. I would not.
Although it's
consider
lots
it.
of homosexual supporting cast in The Great Gatsby. Anyways, he's
That
taking her home.
fucking
He's taking
twinge in your smile when you thought about it.
I was like, huh.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't.
So,
It's like when I thought about it, I was like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
so he's taking her home. He's actually being very sweet, thinking like asking about her mom and her life. And so then he tells her how you're so mature for your age. Like you're so mature for your age. Like it wouldn't even be weird if we went
By
out because
mature,
like,
I
you're
mean
so
you're
mature.
bored.
Yeah, pretty much. And then she talks more about how he kind of, I think, pulls in, like, I don't know, it's just more of, like, talking about how her mom made her into the parent.
Yeah. Because then she says, my mom always says on 106, I was born 35 years old and that I get more middle-aged every year. Which, honestly, she does seem very middle-aged.
You know what? Yeah,
does.
with her personality, definitely.
But if
I mean,
you were forced to become the parent...
yeah, you're
Oh,
already
no, like, I
you're already
get
being
it.
put into that box.
Yeah, I
is
get
the
it,
thing.
but...
Makes her boring, sure.
Yeah.
God damn.
But, like, just not a very good painting of Renee, in my opinion.
Well, I mean,
No.
honestly, like from the beginning, she hasn't been painted well.
That's true.
Flighty.
There's one point where he says, "Are you frightened of me now?" And in my head, I was like,
Where?
"I'm turned on."
Oh.
Bitch,
Not by him
please.
specifically, just like if you know.
The idea of a better character.
Yeah, the idea of a better character. And then he talks a little bit about Carlisle and Esme, and like,
That's the parents, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's his parents, Carlisle and Esme, and how there are no secrets in forks, and that people have already, you know.
You mean utensils?
You're right. I'm sorry. There's no secrets in tongs, in chopsticks. And then he talks about how he and Emmett are going to go hunting, and how Emmett likes to hunt bears and he likes to hunt lions.
That was this early? I thought that was later.
Or-
What chapter are we on?
We're now on 6.
Will you
That
do
was
something for
5.
me this weekend? He doesn't talk about it yet. He talks about it when
Yeah,
he comes back, I think.
that was way later. I think that was chapter 11.
So then we get to chapter 6. As I sat in my room trying to concentrate on the third act of Macbeth, I was really listening for my truck, and it just kind of appears. Now, what I am curious about is, did she just genuinely not hear the roar of the engine, or did they, like, fly it
Did
back?
Emmett just carry it?
I think
Honestly.
I think every time they need to move the truck, it's just being carried. I think.
But
It's
wouldn't
just a
people
prop.
see them, like, just carrying the fucking... Well, no, because I guess they're super fast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
so it would
they
seem
can
like a
move it
truck.
without a problem.
Plus, I'm sure someone would be like, I must have just been seeing things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that's
if someone
true.
did notice it.
Lauren, this is where we finally get introduced to Lauren.
Yeah.
And as much as I think it's really funny, I also really hate Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but that's
Again,
also because
the
she's actually realistic written.
The only reason I said Lauren is my favorite character is because she gives Bella so much strife, and that brings
Yes.
so much joy into my reading experience.
Well, and I dislike her just because she might be one of the very few characters in here that's realistically written. Because, like, she's jealous. She wants to go to prom with this
Also,
and the dance with this boy, but she's the second choice. Like, honestly, I get it. Like, that is actually how a teenager would act.
yeah, because they would be like, well, it's time to fucking fuck some bitch up.
Yeah, and, like, she's jealous, and, like, on page 111 if you're looking for it.
I thought, for a moment, I thought Angela was named after Angela from The Office because it says, that one gave me a dirty look, you know? But then it says Lauren, she got her corn silk hair. But I was reading it wrong, and I thought that one had the corn silk hair, and I was like, Angela from The Office.
Oh my
So she's
god.
giving dirty looks.
But I will say go Mike, because Lauren was like, why does she have to sit with us? And Mike was like, she's my friend, she can sit with us.
Quit being a bitch, Lauren!
Yeah.
Seriously.
Just because you're jealous doesn't mean you get to dictate who sits with who.
You don't know my Bella.
Yes. And so then they go to the beach.
Yeah, the thing about Mike is I feel like he's just misguided. He just
Yes.
doesn't know what he's doing.
He has a big crush, and he's 16, 17.
And he wants to fit.
And he wants her, and she's new.
She's different.
Interesting.
She's different.
Yeah, different.
Not interesting.
Yeah. Not even a little bit. She has like I said, she has the personality of a wet dish rag.
Maybe, you know what, I bet they think that there's something else under there.
Yeah.
I bet
It's
he's like, what's
You
She's
know
so
what?
soft
That's
and
probably
brooding.
part of that. It's probably part of it because like
She's
she
so
always
brooding.
she
Yeah.
also wears like frumpy clothing as well. She always wears super baggy clothing. So like, what if she's super hot under that clothing? Like
She's not.
she's not.
She's not.
But
Yeah, but then they go and they meet up to go to the beach.
yeah, and as soon as
I don't actually have a lot for like I have like
as
almost
soon
no
as
notes on the
what's his name, Jacob?
Yes.
As soon as Jacob
Yeah.
is introduced, like I say,
can't
well,
believe how young
this
he
is
was.
turning very
Yeah,
fast.
he's 2 years younger than Bella.
I made a note of that. Well, he's turning
Well,
very.
wait. Isn't he might be 3? Sorry, because isn't Bella's birthday soon? In the book?
No,
And he goes, I just
her
turned
birthday.
I think it's at the end of the book.
Her birthday has not been mentioned once. I don't think.
Not yet.
I
But is
think
that
her
later?
birthday is at the end of the book.
The first time it was
Okay.
mentioned was when
They're-
Ed was doing his interview, when he was asking all of those questions to her. I think that's the
Oh.
only time it's been mentioned, and it wasn't even said.
maybe, but
But
it is later in this book.
Yeah.
So, like, but that just means Jacob's, like, about almost, like, maybe we'll say 2.5 years, because...
Yeah.
He's younger.
Either way, he's
Yeah.
younger than
He's
her. 'Cause
way
He's
younger.
15. But so they all go and they're doing, they're doing all their business and starting that really cool fire, which I want to do a driftwood fire now.
I want to see
Yeah.
how what it looks like.
So we should go down to Galveston and we should check that out.
Hell
sometime.
yeah. I actually want to do a beach trip too.
Yes, but so they go and they like. I don't really have any notes for this because they're
Yeah,
Yeah, but-
the next note I have is on page 121.
Me, I put, well, this is turning very fast into a harem anime. Jacob, and he's younger.
yes.
Yeah.
Poor Mike, though.
Senpai, poor Mike. Not
Poor
even a
Mike,
chance.
though.
Only monsters here.
Yep.
Monster fuckers! Where is the Cthulhu justice? Where is Mothman?
So I think it's going to be Lauren. Because my note for chapter 10, Lauren is a fish monster, confirmed on page 121.
Perfect.
Because it says, okay, how nice. She didn't sound like she thought it was nice at all, and her pale fishy eyes narrowed. Which I'm like, fishy eyes?
Nice.
Because
she's dumb.
wouldn't it be on the side of her head? Like,
she's got goldfish eyes.
Glob.
Glob.
She meets Jacob, and which she knew him when she was little, I guess. And they start talking about his sisters and his family, and how, you know, he worked on the truck, and how he likes cars. Oh, he flashed a brilliant smile, looking at me appreciatively in a way I was learning to recognize. I just wrote horniness.
Horny.
You're learning to recognize when boys are horny for you.
Yeah.
And then we've got, you know, Lauren being her fishy bitch self.
Fishy bitch.
Also, if she's Cthulhu, where the fuck is my Mothman?
She's not Cthulhu. She's a fish monster.
Oh my god, she's a reverse mermaid.
Yeah.
She's got the
Fish top, legs on the bottom.
Ew.
She smells extra fishy.
I just imagine the legs I imagine the legs from Toy Story from that.
Yeah.
The crane. And then we get to the part where she tries to flirt.
Quote unquote flirt.
Well,
Oh
and
my
she
God.
does a pretty good job. I'm not gonna lie. She uses all the tricks that you're supposed to. I'm just not imagining her pulling
Okay,
them off
so I
very
have a
well.
note for that.
Like, I would imagine her doing it very awkwardly, but like, since Jacob is 14, he's like,
yeah, so I
Boobies.
put, I can only picture Kristen Stewart looking as if she's having a small seizure while, quote, fluttering her eyelashes. Yeah, just like...
just shaking.
like, just her eyes rolling in the back of her head, like poor Kristen
Is this
Stewart.
sexy?
No. It's
To
worse.
Jacob it is.
It's worse because your mouth is open.
I thought that's what men wanted.
Ah!
Oh!
Say, I've never had any complaints.
They just put it into the fish mouth when it's open.
I'm Lauren.
Glub, glub.
Glub glub.
Show me
Who doesn't like fish?
Show me the bubbles that mouth can make.
And then I also said page 123, quote, do you like scary stories? Girl, run. I was like, I guess you know him, but like after learning there are monsters in the world, that's a red flag.
Well, she doesn't know
For
yet.
what? Wait.
She doesn't
She
know
doesn't
yet.
know, but she's suspicious.
Yeah.
And
Wait,
he's
wait,
obviously...
what-
Also, Stephanie Meyer needs to get a different word besides smolder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's-
fucking god!
Maybe at the end of this book, I'm going to count.
The
how many times
mentality
it's
probably was like, oh, this is the word I want to use for his eye specifically. But like,
It just,
It's
it's like
overused.
the editor didn't catch that it was
yeah,
overused.
it's just
Yeah.
overused at that point.
So he starts telling her about the. I thought this was so fucking funny. He's like, your kind calls them vampires. I'm like, everybody fucking calls them vampires across all.
Yeah.
No.
Who the fuck calls them?
Jacob's actually Native American. So
Yeah, no, I know.
They would probably have a different name for it.
Oh, well, that's true, yeah, because when Bella does the
But
search...
the cold ones.
That's probably like literally translated.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't like it. It was annoying. Also,
I don't approve.
There
I
are
don't
stories about the cold ones, and honestly, I just went zombies.
Brewskis.
Yeah.
I was thinking brewskis.
And he like, so he's telling him, and then she goes, "Are the Cullens descended from them?" And he goes, "They're the same ones." And I just went, Twilight Zone theme song. And he says, "Your people call them vampires," and I was just like,
And he talks about the treaty.
yeah, and how he shouldn't have told her the story, how she feels guilty for flirting with him.
Which now we've got another puppy behind Bella.
Honestly,
Like, that is funny. Good job, Bray.
I was like, is that in the same book? No.
No.
No, we find out later.
Yeah.
and then that's the end of the chapter, is the end of the beach trip. And I didn't have
Yeah.
a whole lot for the beach trip, because I actually thought most of it was pretty cool, like when they were looking in the tide pools and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it
Oh,
was-
I have to say, like, how she hates, green and shit and stuff, but, like, going on a hike like that just made me so want an area to go hike.
Can we go on a hike?
Yeah, there's a little park near my house. It's really nice.
I was gonna say the Arboretum's really close by here too.
Yeah.
We can go to the Arboretum.
Can I go?
Yeah.
No.
Hell yeah.
I
No,
mean, yes, obviously.
So we get to 7. The Nightmare.
The nightmare.
She has this nightmare.
emphasis.
Which, okay, hello. So, okay,
Okay,
so
are
in
you about
this,
to be like, this would be my dream?
No. So, we forgot to say, in the scary story, he does out his people as werewolves, even though he doesn't believe that it's true.
Yeah.
In the story, his people are werewolves. In this fucking dream, she's in the forest, and Edward is, like, beckoning her.
Yeah.
He's like, come over here.
Yeah.
Ada.
Plus,
Era.
Mike's voice is also trying to warn her.
Yes. And
This-
then Jacob, like, turns into a wolf and, like,
Yeah.
lunges at him. And then I said, I took a step forward toward Edward. He smiled, and then his teeth were sharp, pointed. Trust me, he purred. I wrote Discord Kitten Core.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. And, like, it's crazy to me that she's upset that he was going to get hurt. Not that he was a vampire and was going to hurt her. In this dream, she was more upset that Jacob the werewolf was going to hurt him.
Well,
Because she loves him.
yeah,
She
it's
loves
stupid
him.
because, like, the feeling's already there, and it's been, a month at most?
But she's a teenager.
Yeah.
It's true.
A
I
horny,
fall so
stupid
fast.
teenager.
I can't even fault her for that, honestly. I've never gotten as obsessed as she is that fast, but, like, I definitely get crushes very fast. And then she starts looking up vampires. And I don't have a whole lot of notes.
Oh, I have a
here,
note
too.
for that one. Page
Uh-huh.
135. That's not how you switch a computer off, Isabella.
Oh my god, because she turned it off and didn't shut it down.
Yeah, well, didn't she just unplug
Yeah,
it?
she just
I snapped off the computer's
Yeah.
main power
Yeah.
switch.
Yeah.
Not waiting to shut things down properly. Also,
Properly, so
like,
she knew.
a sentence later, she was like, what's wrong with me? I just wrote, do you want a list?
Yes.
Because, like, honestly,
Do you want me to be honest?
Do you believe?
in life after life, do you believe in life?
That's all I could think of.
I was thinking, do you believe in magic?
Do you believe in magic? So she's like, goes outside and okay, so first of all, this girl.
Oh, this
who
is where I
admits
was
that
jealous
she's-
of her.
Oh, the hike.
The hike.
I was gonna
love
say,
that.
for a girl that's so clumsy and like
Yes.
Wait, but she went
self-proclaimed accident prone and stuff, how does she go on a hike by herself?
and she was fine.
And she
Not
was
done.
fine.
But she does say that she could get lost, but she didn't. But
Yeah,
But she also didn't fall over.
She also
didn't fall
somehow
over.
magically found her way home too. Like
Yeah.
that's also like what the fuck is going on?
Like, this is not... Also, I underlined this just because it gave me the ick. The sound of my soggy footsteps. I was like...
Soggy.
Yeah.
Gave me the ick.
Nom nom nom.
Also, so I made a lot of notes based on being a bitch.
Okay.
We know this. She was talking about only 2 options seemed practical. She's thinking about the Cullens.
right.
The first was to take his advice, to be smart, to avoid him as much as possible, to cancel our plans, to go back to ignoring him as far as I was able, to pretend there was an impenetrably thick glass wall between us in the one class where we were forced together, to tell him to leave me alone, and to mean it this time. I said, i.e., hurt his feelings. Choice number 1, that's my choice. End of story. And then the other one is not. I literally wrote at the bottom of this page, this book is killing me to get through. I need to get high.
What page?
Page 139. Yeah.
Because oh
it
my
made
God.
it dim as twilight under the canopy. I just wrote name drop.
So like
I thought about that.
Yeah. Promising warmth and dry sauce.
so I don't know, like fucking that's the
Oh.
thing. This book could end at any moment and it should end at any moment, but
But it doesn't.
For
No.
It
139,
keeps going for 4 books.
Yeah.
I wrote, Bella, you foolish, hopeless romantic. He is a predator.
Then she goes back inside. Which, again, magically finds her way home.
like that's so fucking dumb.
For nothing. And for what? Anyways. Charlie's inside making breakfast. When Charlie smiled, it was easier to see why he and my mother had jumped
wearing a
too
naked
quickly
apron for Hale?
into an early marriage.
See, I didn't understand that. Why was this important to know?
It's curiosity.
Who was curious about this?
Fucking
Bella. She's
it's
curious. Why did y'all get
It's her
together?
dad.
Did she ask?
No.
Okay, then. I don't think this was important to the story.
I don't either, but
it
I liked
isn't,
it.
but I mean,
I
like...
thought it was a weird...
There's so much in here that's not important to the story.
Yeah,
This
like,
book,
it's a
if
book.
we took out everything that's not important to the story, it would literally be that much of a book.
Probably.
Like,
but I was like, why are you...
I'm pretty sure she...
It's a weird romanticization of her parents. And I don't like
Well,
it.
I mean, yeah, because of course...
I just don't
honestly, has Charlie gotten any since he's been with...
Probably not.
So he probably romanticizes that a lot.
But why does Bella do it? That's what I didn't understand.
Well, the child of divorced parents.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, her parents split when she was really little. My parents didn't split till I was 13, and I still, like, romanticized the idea of, like, the whole family, like, being back together, imagining my parents together.
But that's not what she's doing. All she's saying is, like, I could see how she fell in love with him, but it's so weird to me, like...
I don't know.
It's just something that...
Because then it follows with most of the young romantic he'd been in those days had faded before I'd known him. So, like, she's thinking, like, okay, so he probably was a romantic and, like...
But why?
I don't know, I can't explain it. It's just something that...
You never thought, like, why did your parents get together? Like, I think that's something...
My parents are so different
here.
that I was always like, how did y'all end up together? And I would, like, think about it.
No.
Really?
No.
Not curious at all? Okay. You're not a...
Bunch of horny
You're not
teenagers.
you're not a true child of divorce.
Oh, I am.
Yeah, but no. I definitely I understand that.
Yeah, no,
because
like,
I've done that with my parents.
my youngest brother specifically has specifically talked to both my parents about, like, why they split up, why they got together.
See, asking why is different, or like that, but like to be looking at your dad and being like, oh, I could see why.
Oh, you're thinking this is creepy.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Oh.
Well, so I've looked at, like, I've
I
looked
was
at
thinking...
like both of my parents and been like, yeah, I can see how, like, people of your age would find you attractive. So then we get back to school, and she left early, so she ended up there. Mike is being relentless again.
I don't know what Mike sees in Bella. Like,
I don't either.
Like, she's rejected
It's
him.
the rejection. He wants what he can't have.
It's true.
God, I hate that. I hate that instantly made me go, you're right. Like, I fucking hate that happens.
But it's a thing.
Yeah. And that applies to everyone. Everyone wants what they can't have.
It's true.
Also, I just have to say, Mike, don't touch my fucking hair.
Yes, I wrote that down. Where she
143?
was like, oh god, I became just a little uncomfortable as he tucked a lock behind my ear. I wrote, me fucking too.
Yeah, that's why I would yell at Mike too. Maybe she can sense deep down.
Well, I feel like that's like a
No, Jay, you don't
listen.
do that. No, I won't. Because
If
y'all
you're
yell
not
at me every
actually,
time I
if
try
you
to
don't
say
think that a
something.
girl actually likes you, you do not tuck hair behind
Okay,
your
that's
ear.
fine, but that's what I'm saying. Like, he's trying to do the whole, like, I'm your prince thing. Like, oh. Like, ooh. I'm sexy, aren't I?
The
No.
road to hell
you
is
could-
paved with good intentions.
Yep. True.
Well, I was gonna feed the poor, but then I thought they should.
Oh my god!
I
Well.
thought it'd be better for the morale.
Um,
Said every rich person ever.
so then it's just a boring day. She emails her
Yeah.
mom.
Wait, isn't this like also the chapter where she's fucking losing it because fucking Ed isn't at school?
Yeah.
Like,
Angela asked a few quiet questions about the Macbeth paper, which I answered as naturally as I could while spiraling downward in misery.
yep. And I'm just like, Bella is defo
Like, you're
in
so
love
fucking
now.
dramatic.
Day is ruined if
I
Ed
was
isn't at school.
I was glad to leave campus so I would be free to pout and mope. What
Oh
are you,
my
3?
Like, what the
Yes.
fuck? This is the other thing that I feel like is a toxicity that happens nowadays. You have to be obsessed with your partner to be with them. You have to be
Yeah.
obsessed
I hate that.
with your partner.
You can have
to
a
be,
life outside
you
of your
can have
partner.
You have to be on the phone all the time. You have to be texting all the time. You have to fall asleep
Sex
with
phone.
each other on the phone.
Yes.
Like,
my sister and her boyfriend are literally they will FaceTime for like 36 hours straight.
Oh my god.
I'm like, how do you even have that much to say?
I
to
used to fall asleep on the phone though with my
okay.
Yeah, I did too. But
cool, but
that was like my first love.
Exactly.
Yeah, it wasn't like a constant thing. It was like once or twice. Also, here's where we get the part where she says, my favorites were Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. I'm sorry, who the fuck says their favorite? Their favorite.
Their
favorite.
¿Cómo? Again?
Their favoritos.
Favorito book.
You can't even say favorito.
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 Fritos.
Favorito.
Fabian.
Fritos.
Fabian. Fabio.
Fabian.
Ooh.
What?
Ooh.
Her eyes are darting, and I'm just like, what's going on in that goldfish brain up there?
It just zooms in, and there's a little Haley going, blub, blub. Ooh.
But yeah, she's so upset that he's not there.
Yeah, like, it's so ridiculous how upset she is about this, and I'm like, calm down.
And they're not even together yet.
That's the thing.
She doesn't even know if he likes her back yet.
She's already like, oh.
I don't understand this sentence. She talked of nothing but the dance on the way to Spanish, 145, continuing as if without an interruption when class finally ended.
Oh, that means so they were talking about it and then they had to pause for class, but they picked up immediately after class, like there hadn't been any pause.
As if it was in a weird spot, and I was like, what?
Oh, yeah, no. Just meaning like she was... Oh, I also wrote down, desolation hit me with a crippling strength. I shambled along behind Jessica, not bothering to pretend to listen anymore. I said, oh my god, get a life/hobby outside of him.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
You know what? It's Wuthering Heights and Sense and Sensibility and all that shit.
Making her a depressed moment.
Oh, they're obsessed with each other in those. Oh my god, that's the thing. That's the thing.
A lot of the old novels are
I'm surprised it didn't name drop Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
Although I feel like it does later. I feel like that's a movie that they watch.
Probably, especially with the situation they're eventually in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they wait until the reveal to do that. Probably.
And also, who says that Sense and Sensibility is their favorite book?
Like,
old people.
She's an old soul.
English teachers.
English.
Not even.
Not my favorite.
English major.
Like
teacher.
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 Oh, and she gets so upset that the main characters of her favorite books are named Edward and Edmund.
Yeah, that's right.
Really?
Yeah. 148. I began chapter 3 that the hero of the story happened. So I started into Sense and Sensibility only to remember after I began chapter 3 that the hero of the story happened to be named Edward. Angrily, I turned to Mansfield Park, but the hero of that piece was named Edmund, and that was just too close.
Yeah.
I can't think about him at all.
I can't believe I can't enjoy my favorite book.
I can't even think of his name.
Oh my god.
And I did think it was really cute when she mentioned, like, so she goes inside and she's talking to Charlie, and she says, I watched TV with Charlie after dinner for something to do. There wasn't anything on I wanted to watch, but he knew I didn't like baseball, so he turned it to some mindless sitcom that neither of us enjoyed. He seemed happy, though, to be doing something together. And I just thought that was really sweet, because I've always found it really nice, like, when I get to do, like, nothing next to my parents. Like, especially my dad. Like, we don't do a whole lot together, but, like, sometimes we just sit on the couch and we watch TV together, and I think it's really sweet. And I think it's sweet that he's trying to...
Yeah.
To be the dad, yeah.
He's trying, and he wants to connect with her, even though it's hard for him.
That's the unfortunate truth, that he's not able to do that often, and that's the problem with Charlie. Like Which
really stinks.
Yeah, like, I feel like Charlie could have been more in the story as well, but because he's so not involved in Bella's life, he's just not.
Yeah.
I was going to criticize this one line on 149 where she's talking about helping Angela and Jessica find dresses. And she goes, and Charlie was confused, but you're not going to the dance, right? No, Dad, but I'm helping them find dresses. You know, giving them constructive criticism. I wouldn't have to explain this to a woman. And I was going to be like, oh, well. But I'm like, honestly, though, how many women have complained about explaining stuff to men and been like, if you were a woman, I wouldn't have to say this. Because sometimes there's some dumb questions.
They do.
I do ask a lot of dumb questions.
I ask a lot of
damn questions.
I ask some damn dumb questions.
Yeah, some stupid ass questions.
Dumb.
God damn.
Why does she also feel like her dad can't take care of himself?
I know he did it for so long.
Yeah, like this. You'll be okay for dinner, right? Bells, I fed myself for 17 years before you got here.
Yes.
I don't know how you survive.
Like-
Wow.
But is this her, like, way of, like...
I think it's her way of trying to joke with him. Maybe. I hope.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I feel like we as a group kind of joke heavy like that, but we have that understanding and also don't just, like, ghost each other.
True story.
Yeah.
Like 80% of the time. Like, we actually, like, hey, did we go too far? Hey, I actually do support you.
Yeah. Yes. I do like, though, that she's going to Port Angeles, with Jessica and Angela. I even wrote down, at least she's having fun away from Edward.
Yeah.
Because, like, she actually enjoys it, and I do enjoy that.
So I have one note for Port Angeles.
Oh, God. This is the chapter,
like,
isn't it? Okay.
Yes, and, like, well, it's not just one note. I guess we can touch on the other stuff. But, like, you know, whatever, and then she sneaks off. They're going to go find dresses, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But my one note is when she goes into that bookshop, and she goes, the windows were full of crystals, dream catchers, and books about spiritual healing. I didn't even go inside. Through the glass, I could see a 50-year-old woman with long gray hair, worn straight down her back, clad in a dress right out of the 60s, smiling welcomely from behind the counter. I decided that was one conversation I could skip. There had to be a normal bookstore in town. And I just put rude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
was
also,
like,
if
geez.
you're somebody who's, like, you've been researching vampires,
Wouldn't
why
this
would you
be-
not be
like-
at least a little bit curious to go
Yeah.
in there?
Why not just ask, hey, what do you know about the supernatural? And if she
Yeah.
starts going crystal mommy on you, leave.
Just be like, not crystals, beings. Like, you know, like...
Like, vampires and werewolves. Like she doesn't have to... Because I know that she was there for some normal books, because she said, like, the library is woefully stocked. But if she's so obsessed with him, which we've seen that she is so obsessed with him, but she thinks that he's probably a vampire, why would she not go into this bookshop to look at more stuff about vampires?
Yeah, exactly.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
But I do relate with her with, well, she doesn't get to the bookshop in this one. Or does she?
Mm-mm.
No, she doesn't. But
No.
when she's like, oh, they didn't know how preoccupied I could get when surrounded by books. I was like, I feel that.
Mood.
Yeah.
I have a little note here. I said, who thinks in NSEW, not NSFW?
Yeah, I know.
Because she was like, the little foot traffic I had seen was going north, and it looked like the buildings here were mostly warehouses. I decided to turn east at the next corner. Who the fuck goes in north, east, south, and west?
In that one chapter
it's
about her
always
hiking.
left, right, up, down. It's
The other
never-
kicker about that is that there's no relation to where she has been going before.
or where
Yeah.
she
So,
needs
like,
to be going.
that is a complete random note for us. That doesn't
that
matter.
doesn't mean
like,
anything.
we
Yes.
don't know what east is in this town.
No. And when she was hiking in the first place, she goes, I'm really bad with directions, but I'm going to go east.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
And I
Yes,
was
I'm
like,
like, what do you mean you're
I
bad
mean,
with
maybe
directions?
the street sign is like, oh, this is east, but like, what
But
the
she
fuck?
was in the woods, so...
Well,
oh, the city.
Yeah, the city.
But I'm like,
But
who? Nobody does that.
Plus, she goes,
No.
I stomped on 156... then she spots Edward's Volvo.
Of course she does, but she doesn't realize it's his.
Oh,
Like she
she
thinks
said-
about it, but she
Well,
thinks
she
about
says,
it.
when I looked up to see someone's silver Volvo, oh, stupid, unreliable vampire. Never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it just makes her think of him. She doesn't realize it's him.
But
You know, like,
but she goes, I stomped along in a southerly direction.
she's
Like,
so.
what does that even mean?
You know what?
Pardon me, ma'am.
This actually is the point that you were making earlier. With she thinks she has a perception of 15.
Yes, she does. She thinks she has a perception of 15, but
If
it's like a 9.
If she really was perceptive, she would have noticed that it is his car because of the license plate.
Yes.
Right.
It-
I feel like she would have memorized
Or
the
seen
license
him
plate.
Or
in the
at least
window.
been able
Well,
to
is
call
it
out part of it.
tinted?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Goodness.
Well, I don't.
I will say this chapter was really hard for me to read
Why?
because of what almost happens to
Oh, okay,
her.
got it.
It was very hard
I
for me to
forgot
read
that
because
happened.
I did too. It was really hard for me to read. This was actually one of the more realistic, at least to me, it was one of the more realistic chapters in the book. Not how she responded. Little
I
Miss,
have a note
no
for that.
self-preservation
Yeah.
instinct.
I
'Cause-
said, Bella, you can't even walk straight. How will you defend yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm like, you're gonna aim for their eyes and you're gonna end up like poking them in the forehead.
You're gonna
Like-
punch yourself in the face.
What was she trying to do?
She was trying to like pop their eye out of their socket or shove
How?
their nose up into their brain.
Okay, that one's a basic one. You
Yes, and
could
like
do that.
she said that she learned it in self-defense or whatever. Like, okay, but like you are self-appointed clumsy, self-appointed
Exactly.
accident prone. You can't just automatically go into superhero mode.
You can't go automatically be ready to
Yeah.
throw hands.
Yes, exactly. Especially when like in the first chapter or two, you were like constantly like, "Oh, I'm so
Yeah,
timid.
But then again,
Oh,
what
I'm
if
so
what if
cowardly."
it's specifically like a foot thing, like moving around is difficult for her? I know it's not, but what
you
if
said foot thing? That's not what I thought of.
The only issue is volleyball.
yeah, that's what was about to mention. Like she's supposed to be like not able to move
And
properly,
sure, she
but
can do a
Well,
standard
and she
knee to the
also-
groin, but
She
There's
calls
5 of
herself
them,
like
right?
cowardly and scared and timid.
is there 5
so
of them?
many
I thought
times.
there was only 2.
No,
Or
there
4
were
of
there
them?
were 2 following. There was an entire group of 4 or 5.
And then
And
2
then
of
she
them
was being
split
herded.
off. Okay.
Two of them were following
Yeah.
her, and that part like scared me. Not scared me, but like it hit home
Yeah.
so hard when
Yeah.
she was like, "I realized I wasn't being followed. I was being herded," and I was like,
that, it
I was
made my
like, yeah,
stomach
I
drop a
know.
little. Like I don't have the same experience, but like just the idea.
I
of
literally
that.
wrote the words "my nightmare." It says, "Because lounging about the Western Building midway down the street were the other 2 men from the group, both watching with excited smiles as I froze dead on the sidewalk. I realized from then that I wasn't being followed. I was being herded. Literally my nightmare."
Yeah.
And I think so many women can relate to that.
Yes,
so many
exactly.
people, like just
Again, I think
and
that's,
like this was one of the most realistic scenes for me.
I think that's the problem with this book, that there's a lot of I shouldn't say a lot. There's good moments in it. There's really well written moments in it, but like mixed in with all this toxic bullshit. Like it's like this could have been an amazing book.
It really
Yeah.
could have.
It could have been, but it isn't. And because of that, it actually colored a lot of young people's idea of what a relationship is.
Unfortunately.
And that's not good.
Yeah.
As a-
Because this was a super popular fucking book.
And as someone from trauma, I always wanted to be saved.
Yes.
Ah.
Edward
Me
saving
too.
her. I think
Okay,
is the
I
thing.
literally I thought this was so hot when he like gets her into the car and stuff,
Okay.
and he's like, "Bella," he asked, his voice tight, controlled. "Yes, my
Yes.
voice was still rough. I tried to clear my throat quietly. Are you all right?" He didn't look at me, but the fury was plain on his face. "Yes," I croaked softly. "Distract me, please," he ordered. "I'm sorry, what?" He exhaled sharply. "Just prattle about something unimportant until I calm down," he clarified, closing his eyes and pinching the bridge of his nose with his thumb and his forefinger. Because I'm not going to lie, the idea of a guy being so mad on my behalf that someone was going to hurt me and being that angry about it where he has to be distracted or he's going to go back and fuck them up.
Or
Chef's kiss.
woman, to be honest.
Chef
Give me
kiss.
that mom.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
should
or
throw
women.
this in
Just
there.
like, yes, or women. Like the idea of somebody.
I'm actually going back on that like threatening question, because I do like the idea
Maybe
of
the
a threat.
threatening
like-
in a protective stance.
Like
Yes.
it's less threatening and more like bridled strength is what I think
Yeah.
people find attractive, because I know so many guys that are like, oh, I like a woman that can kick my ass, and I'm in that camp too. Like,
Sorry, Jay, I'm not interested.
you can't kick. You can.
I could kick your
You
ass.
cannot fight me.
I could kick your
Fight!
ass. Fight!
Fight!
Fight me!
Ding ding! Oh,
Oh,
no,
oh,
Haley.
oh.
Haley, you're gonna fall and bust your ass.
Joke's on you, I do that daily.
Look, all I have to do is. A point is, Hale is not intimidating.
I am
Yeah.
so
No,
intimidating.
you are soft.
But yeah, that whole idea of
So, this is a result of him stalking.
Yeah.
This is a result of him
Listening
stalking.
to people's thoughts for her.
So, like, do you guys still think that it's a positive even after that? Like I know you like the idea of someone saving you, but in
Right.
order for that to
Well,
happen,
all
You know
of the
what?
hot moments, all of the moments where I'm like, oh my god, that's so hot, I'm horny.
It's disconnected
All of
from
that is disconnected from the rest of it. It's literally
Okay.
just situational.
Got
like
it.
if it was
So-
like again, the line between creepy and hot is very, very thin.
Sid has something to say.
although I do like the idea of someone caring about me enough to stalk me.
Really?
Because I think that I need. Well, I don't like the fact that it's like I think you need to be protected at all costs. Because I'm like, I got it.
No.
I got it. I'll fight. But
I think you like the idea of being taken care of.
I do.
I think that's what you really like.
But you can do that without stalking someone.
You can. I just say like.
Well, the other thing is like, in order to have that level of protection, they literally need to be by your side 100% of the time,
and they need to be obsessed with you too.
Yeah, like that's not okay. You have to be able to separate from your partner and
but I think I project the like, oh, he's so passionate about her. I think I forget the like. The other stuff.
Yeah.
I literally wrote down red flag, but it's also so...
Yeah, because...
She goes, what's wrong? My voice came out in a whisper. Sometimes I have a problem with my temper, Bella. And I was like...
I like, here's...
Also, that poor waitress
Here's
while
the
they're
thing
talking.
with you guys, like, shuddering at these lines. Like, if someone actual were to say this to you, I feel like you'd be like, okay, edgelord.
It depends on how hot they are. That's literally the whole point.
Oh
depends
my
on
god.
The relationship and the situation.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
It also depends on how hot
Because
they are.
I wrote, also, I have a temper. Okay, Mr. Edge, we get it.
Yes.
Oh, this is the part. So,
What page? Oh, did you write
I didn't write down the page, but it's the one where it's the one where they're talking about Ed and this event. So hold on, not yet. It's later on in this chapter, though.
Oh, okay. So there's a point where he's trying to get her to eat, and she's like, I'm not hungry, and he says, I think you should eat something. Edward's voice was low, but full of authority. I wrote, who the fuck does he think he is?
That's the thing.
So, yeah,
Full of authority. Like, what? But I did feel really bad for the waitress in this. Like, I think, like, obviously it's very rude to flirt with someone when they're obvious. Like, it seemed very much like a date, obviously. So that's very rude, but, like, he didn't even look at her.
The other thing is, like, I think Ed isn't looking at women that are, like, obviously trying to flirt with him because it happens to him all the goddamn time.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%.
And not only that, it's also not their fault that they're doing it. They're entranced by their empiric bullshit.
Yeah. Although I did think it was really funny that, like, she was, like, literally, like, Bella, Edward, what can I get you?
Yeah.
She was literally, like, had her back to Bella, and they were at the same table, and she was just like...
And there are waitresses like that, which I don't...
Yep.
I don't get that. Like...
Well, if
I was a waitress and I saw something like that, I would do the exact opposite, if only to curb the jealousy, because I don't want to get yelled at by everyone. You don't know who's that jealous to yell at you.
The thing is, like, this is
We
not
also don't know who's paying.
That's another thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so they go through, like, their whole little thing, and I was very surprised that he just, like, outright, yeah, I can read minds, you're right. Like, fucking, what?
Well, okay, wait, but...
At the restaurant.
Here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing. She's been bugging him about it, like, for a while now. He's been asking constantly about what is up with him. She has an idea what's going on, but he hasn't confirmed it yet. And
yeah, but the reading minds specifically, I don't think she really had an idea.
That's true. I don't know.
He was just like... But he was...
Because the other thing is, she knows at this point that she's different from everyone else that he interacts with.
Yeah.
She does know that.
That's true. I did think it was really funny. He tries to give her a compliment. He says, that color blue looks lovely with your skin. I said, who phrases it that way? Serial killers? Like, it looks lovely with your skin.
No.
Yeah.
The phrasing. Like, I get what he was trying to do.
Why would
It
you
would be
say
a
that
normal...
color blue looks lovely on you?
Exactly.
Like,
you would say that. You wouldn't say, that looks so good with your skin. I have successfully given Jay the ick.
What's worse is her fingers were clammy.
That's right. I like you when you did.
Oh my god, yes.
I have never shriveled up so hard as today.
Also, I said that she needed to get another adjective besides...
wait. I want to hear this.
One time I was on a date and we went and saw Lazarus Rising, I think, in theaters, and he, like, had his arm around me and he goes, I don't know if this sounds weird, but I like the way dead bodies looked. And
What
and
the
fuck?
fuck?
I did not know this man very well.
Did you stop at dating?
Yeah, I was like, no.
Nah, I'm good.
Absolutely not.
I told him I think we should be just friends. He was like, whose number is this? I was like, bitch. We were literally just texting.
Oh my god. He probably did that to try to piss you off.
And I was like, okay,
Or
bye.
to be like, I don't care.
yeah,
Whatever.
and then I was like, okay, bye. And then he, I think, messaged me again. I was like, just, yo, this is blah blah. Like, oh, my bad. And I just ignored him. I was like, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. I did say Stephanie Meyer needs to get another adjective besides butterscotch.
But no, actually, the part that I was talking about, we passed it. It was
Oh, we
when
did?
homegirl Jessica was asking if she was okay and she wanted to go with Ed.
Oh yeah, that
Oh,
was real
yeah.
sweet.
But the thing is, the formatting of the page I was reading was weird. So when she was like, "Do you want this?" I winked at her. I wanted was what I read.
Where?
I don't know what page it is because I was reading off of
That's 165.
a web page.
Jess Angela at 165. Yeah. Where have you been? I got lost. Would it be all right if I joined you?
It's at the end.
Okay, here we go. She bit her lip trying to figure 166. Oh, no problem. I guess she bit. Oh wait, a little bit up.
Oh.
Do you mind if I drive Bella home tonight? That way you don't have to wait. No problem, I guess. She bit her lip trying to figure out from my expression whether that was what I wanted. I winked at her. I wanted nothing more than to be alone with my perpetual savior.
But
I literally just wrote ew.
Yes,
Yeah.
but because of the formatting, it was just I wanted.
I wanted.
I wanted.
Like, she's constantly talking about how much she wants him, though. Like,
That's the problem. Bella's so fucking horny for this man. That's fucking weird.
also, she said, let's say on page 172, let's say, hypothetically, of course, that someone could know what people are thinking and read minds, with a few exceptions. Just one, he corrected, hypothetically. I was like, you're subtle.
Yeah.
Obviously. Also, you're much more observant than I gave you credit for. Super backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, thanks.
And
bitch.
also not true.
Because but she's been observant of most things that he's done, I guess, more than the Forks people, which, like, how, if her observant levels are that much, how bad
It's everybody else.
How bad is everybody else?
Well, it could be that they're all like constantly in trance, so they're always in like a semi-drunken state.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Like
maybe.
the,
But
they
it's
just
like,
overwhelmed by the
if they've been there
presence.
for like 2 years, you'd think.
You would think
Someone
so.
would.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, they don't interact with anyone is the other problem.
That's true. His skin was cold and hard like a stone. I just wrote vampire.
See, this is why I think I was always envisioning him like kind of like a blue shade, not like deep dark, but like a tint.
Yeah.
Oh my
a slight
God.
tint.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes when you can, if someone's really
Yeah.
pale,
Oh,
you can see
actually, yeah.
their veins through.
Yeah, so
You can see the blue. I thought this was really funny. I legitimately laughed out loud. I followed you to Port Angeles, he admitted, speaking in a rush. I've never tried to keep a specific person alive before, and it's much more troublesome than I would have believed, but that's probably just because it's you.
You suck at staying alive, though.
Yeah.
Like,
And she just takes it in stride, like, yeah, I guess I do suck at living.
she's like, my time was probably up.
And then they're like, oh, you're fighting fate by saving me. Oh. It's so
This is a
attractive.
weird one, though.
What page?
176 is from the bottom 175. Then when I realized that you weren't with her anymore, I went looking for you at the bookstore I saw in her head. I could tell that you hadn't gone in and that you'd gone south. So why is Bella's sense of direction so good?
Yeah. I
Why
don't
is
know,
her
but she's
compass
supposed to
good?
not have a good sense of
Yeah.
direction. Also, it's really creepy that he can
And I
smell her. What
knew-
is he, a fucking bloodhound?
Yes.
And I knew that you
He's
would
a
have to turn
vampire.
around
He's a
soon.
vampire.
It's still. I said, what the fuck, when he said, he suddenly leaned forward, one elbow appearing on the table, his hand covering his eye. So I'm just imagining him going, let's see, what does he say? It was very hard. You can't imagine how hard for me to simply take you away and leave them alive. It was very hard. You don't understand how hard it was for me to take you away.
Oh my god.
And simply leave them alive. Like, he's just
Yeah.
sitting there, like, with his hand over his eyes.
Well,
like,
Well, but he's also
He's struggling
he's
with
also
this
angry.
temper still.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
like,
growled. His
he-
upper lip curling slightly over his teeth.
because he's dangerous, guys. He's supposed to be hot.
he's so dangerous. But he's
Hot.
just, literally,
Go break-
he's just,
go
the way
bust
that
their
she
heads
has
open, it's
described
hot.
this, he's literally just,
Like, honestly, that's
so angry.
Here's the problem: as soon as you like actually have Edward Cullen in front of you across the
Yeah,
table,
once
you would be.
See it, that's why John Green was talking about making The Fault in Our Stars. He said a lot of things were cut out from book to movie, and like people were upset about that. But he was like, "Listen, you don't realize how cheesy things are until they're said like in person.
Yes,
it sounds way better in your head.
It sounds so
Which
much
is
better
something
in your
like
head.
this. Because see, my first thought would be." You care about me? Curse. Yay. Go beat their ass.
Of course you would.
The
And then they finish up.
apologizes.
True story.
I want to hear it.
Yeah,
Wait till I defend the time.
She likes this story.
I know.
I've already said I'm nostalgic for it. I'm just not a hater like you
She's
guys.
so wet from it right now, dude.
Honestly,
She wants some cold vampire dick.
she really does.
Cold vampire dick.
Well, I mean, so does Haley. That's why she has that thing in her face. You can cut that out.
I thought we were
don't
talking
care.
about it. Okay.
I don't care.
That's the only thing I could think of. I was just like,
Like you
I'm just not
you
much
had
of a
nothing.
hater. I had nothing.
You
You
had
had
nothing.
nothing.
You're grasping at straws. I'm sorry, we're kinky.
I'm sorry, I'm kinky.
Yeah, cold vampire dick.
Let him beat some ass.
Anyway, so we go.
Let him beat your
I just like
ass.
fights.
And we're almost
No.
done. We're through chapter 8.
No.
Don't hurt me.
No.
Don't hurt me.
And he drives, first of all, he drives real fucking fast, which, like, I get it, because
I mean,
when you run as fast and move as fast as you do, like...
he's got the perception. He can do
Yeah.
it. Honestly, if I was able to, I'd be going 100 on the highway.
She said, well, you knew I hadn't gone into the bookstore and that I had gone south. I was just wondering how you knew that. And I just said, his schnoz.
Schnozberries.
Schnozberries.
Smell
These
like
schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
They smell like schnozberries too, boy.
Boogers.
And then she finds out. I didn't realize that it was in the car. I think because they made it different in the movie. Because in the movie, in the forest, is when she finds out that he's a vampire. She, like, walks away and she's like,
Well,
how
yeah.
long have you been 17? Because they do it in the forest, not
Yeah.
in the car.
Because they have to cut out like
Oh.
80% of this fucking book to be able to adapt it for a film.
Well,
Well,
they should have made a better film, though.
Honestly,
There's a lot of
yes.
descriptions in here.
But I mean, when their source material shit.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and so here it is. I literally wrote down, like, this is... Oh, first of all,
What page?
red flag, 184. A hard mocking edge entered his voice. You don't care if I'm a monster, if I'm not human. First of
So-
all, he's mocking her
Yeah.
for this. Second of all, ew.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to kind of... I'd mock her stupidity.
I would too, yeah,
I mean,
but like...
Bella is
Bitch,
dumb
I'm
as
a
fuck.
monster. I could eat you for breakfast.
Yeah, but you're
Do it.
dangerous.
Do
You're
it, Daddy.
dangerous. But I wrote down, because, okay, this was like one of the most iconic lines in the movie.
Mhm.
How old are you? 17, he answered promptly. And how long have you been 17? His lips twitched as he stared at the road. A while, he admitted at last. Like,
What?
Okay.
that's just 185. That's just like an iconic line from the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
And then that's when she turns around.
Yeah.
But that's when they were doing that weird thing and he was zipping her around. You know, you're right. For some reason, I was picturing it again in the book. And in the movie, though, isn't he just like rushing
He's literally,
around her?
they're in the forest, and she finds out at the same time that she sees his skin in the sun, basically.
Yeah.
It's like that same scene.
What was-
Whereas
Also,
here,
but
it's
wasn't-
like 2 weeks
But what
later.
I mean, like, during the questioning, wasn't he just like... Wasn't she, like, just spinning around?
Yeah,
and
yes,
she
she was
was.
asking
That was
questions,
happening.
and she's like, like...
Yeah. Which was weird to me when I watched it. I was like, what's going on?
And, like, so they're, like, talking about this in the car, like it's almost like it's nothing. But he says,
Well,
it
I
makes
mean-
me anxious to be away from you. And I was like, aw, sweet. Codependency on both sides. Like,
Yay!
yay!
Like, at least, at the very least, although everything is stupid around this relationship, it seems like it's meant to be.
Yes.
It
does
seems
seem
like
like
it's meant to be. Like,
Which
it
was
seems
part of
like
why
they're
He's
it's
dead inside. He's
when you
dead.
put Dumb and Dumber, it works.
Unfortunately. I tried very hard not to look like a sulky child. I'm like, really? Because that's kind of all you do. You're
No.
awkward and sulky.
No.
Like, that's all you do. I fall down a lot when I run. You mean when you exist?
Yeah.
Like, she's just talking about why she's not going to the dance, and he's like, can we do something else instead of Seattle? And this is where I say she's a simp. Because he says, can we do something that's not Seattle? And she's like, anything you want, as long as I'm spending time with you. It's not, I'm not always the most, they're talking about why she can't go hunting with him.
Why is she so desperate? So 187.
Me too, though.
She's like, tell me more, I asked desperately, not hearing what he said just so I can hear his voice again.
Have you ever, like, looked at a guy when you were in high school and were like, oh my god, I would do anything for this guy?
Yes.
Like,
I'm currently dating someone that I look at like that.
No, I don't think I...
Really? I've said that about a girl.
I mean, I'm less obvious than she is.
I mean, that I think a lot of people are less obvious than she
Everybody
is.
almost.
She's like a brick when it comes to subtlety.
See, I don't know. But maybe that's the defiance of it. I'm like, no, you don't tell me what to do.
No.
But also tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Zaddy.
Just fight me.
But, like, it was the same. So then she starts talking. He drops her off. She's talking about his scent, and I just said ew. But he said, "I am not always the most dangerous thing out there. Let's leave it at that." I just said spoopy.
For real.
What, you don't like when guys smell you? Like, just...
I can smell his colon. Also, this confused me. This is another point where I don't think Stephanie 194. I don't think Stephanie Meyer has ever been a teenager or ever talked to anyone.
Oh, she just appeared as a 20-year-old woman?
No, this is her as a
she's
teenager.
ever talked to anyone on the phone.
Oh my
either.
god, Bella's self-insert. Oh my god, everything makes sense right now.
Hey Jess, I was just going to call you. You made it home? Her voice was relieved and surprised. Yes, I left my jacket in your car. Could you bring it to me tomorrow? Sure, but tell me what happened, she demanded. Tomorrow, in Trig, okay? She caught on quickly. Oh, is your dad there? Yes, that's right. Why wouldn't you just say, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Is your dad there? Yes, that's right. Nobody talks like that. Yeah. So 10. Then we hit 10, and he picks her up for school. Cute. And this is where my notes start to drop because I'm like, just let me finish this fucking thing.
She notes the bad weather and likes it now.
Does she?
Yes.
Because it means Edward will be around.
Exactly.
That's right. I forgot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She likes the gloomy weather now, even though she hated it at the beginning of the book. Character development, guys.
Not
but it's
character development.
But it's over her dick.
It's not character development.
It's simp development.
It is.
Simp development.
Also, this is where he says, like I said, it's ostentatious. We try to blend in. She said, you don't succeed. I said, nope.
Nope. Really don't, though.
And then they get to school, and they're talking, and she talks to Jessica about their date.
So this is specifically reason why I think that she's a little bit more clever than people give her credit for, Bella. Mm-hmm. Because she leaves specific thoughts with Jessica. Like, she says specific things to Jessica and leaves specific things out.
Spiteful.
For Ed to know, or to read Jessica's mind.
How inconvenient his little talent could be when it wasn't saving my life. Ungrateful.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie. But yeah, so she's definitely very, okay, I've got one. You should have seen the waitress flirting with him. It was over the top, but he didn't pay any attention to her at all. Let him make what he could of that. I did think it was cute that he said that the way that he said that she could say that they were dating. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was cute.
Look, man, they just want to fuck.
Me too. She's talking to him. Jessica's fucking nosy. She says, how much do you like him? Too much, I whispered back. More than he likes me, but I don't see how I can help that. I literally said me at every crush I have ever had.
I literally wrote, Bella's panties have hit the floor so hard they're in the Earth's core.
True story. Me the fuck too, though. Not for Edward, just in general.
Just at all times.
Just at all times, I'm horny. And he was eavesdropping, of course. Because he is. I thought it was really weird that she just outright said how he dazzles her. I never in the
I think
history
it's a word
ever.
I'm just kidding. I don't think it's a word
Like because this was back when they were in the restaurant, like last chapter or whatever. But she was like, "You have this habit of dazzling people," and he's like, "Do I dazzle you?" And she's like, "Oh, often." I'm like, what teenage girl would say that to the crush that she wasn't sure liked him back,
Wouldn't
liked
be
her
able to
back
talk.
yet?
Well, I mean, honestly, like.
She had so much adrenaline going. She didn't know
No,
what she
no,
was
no, no,
saying.
no, no, no. This is at the point where he's showed up to her doorstep so many times at this point, like coming back again and again and again and again, despite
But she
being
still
like,
doesn't believe that he likes
"You
her.
need to stay away from me. Oh, I'm bad for you. Oh." And he's still coming back to her. He's the one who's coming back to her. She's not looking for him. He's the one
She's definitely also
yes,
looking
but
for him.
also no, because she can't find him ever when she wants to find him.
Perception level 3. So page 214. I know, he sighed, brooding. You should tell Charlie, though, when they're talking about going to Seattle together. Why in the world would I do that? His eyes were suddenly fierce. To give me some small incentive to bring you back. I literally wrote down, that is where middle school me creamed.
Honestly, though, because I was like, whisk me out of my home. I don't care.
Like,
Yeah, nice.
He's like, how do you know that you'll come home? How do you know I won't just keep you? I'm like, keep me.
Keep me.
Keep me, Daddy.
Keep me, Daddy.
Daddy.
Then they're talking about, this is where they're talking about how, where Emmett and Edward like to hunt bears and lions.
Yes.
And she goes,
Yes.
I was like, oh, so she can be funny, because she said nothing more fun than an irritated grizzly bear.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, look, she can make jokes. And basically, she just asks him a bunch of questions to get to know him. So I didn't really have a whole lot of notes for that chapter.
I mean,
like,
this and the next chapter are just that. They're just
questions.
they're literally
I
just
said-
and can I ask, though, like, literally as someone who's had very, unfortunately, little actual relationship experience, is this how you get to know someone? Do you interview each other?
Yes, honestly,
Yeah.
I will literally sit there.
Okay.
What's your favorite color?
But not like...
Like, this feels
This is excessive.
yes, that's what I
This
mean.
is
Like,
a
this
very
feels like...
sped up version.
But when you're like comfortable with someone, you just kind of like...
Of course,
Wanna
but
get
I
to
mean,
know.
like, this feels like you're
This is-
interviewing each other.
Yeah, this is happening over 2 days. Normally, this would happen over like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, but not this intense, not this.
And they even make a
fast.
joke about the 20 questions.
Of course,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, that's so small when
Yeah.
when
For
this
the
thing is
next-
like a whole ass chapter.
It's literally It's almost 2 chapters.
Yeah, for the next chapter, it is a bunch of more things, but
But
I wrote fucking cheesy. Your favorite gem is the color of her boyfriend's
Oh my
eye.
god, yes! I was like,
Whoa, wait.
even said, she was like, just last month my favorite gem
Yeah.
was a garnet, and I'm like, talk about changing yourself for a man.
Yeah, and then
Well,
she says,
okay,
that,
but
and
I mean, like-
give it 2 weeks, it'll be onyx after topaz or whatever.
because she likes his eyes, guys. Come on,
Yeah.
looks
Yeah,
so
but
perfect and
Good
smoldering.
personality.
And then she goes, I was worried it would provoke the strange. So I like the color of your eyes. It's the color of your eyes today. I sighed, staring down at my hands as I fiddled with a piece of my hair. When he asks why she chose why she's being weird about topaz. I suppose if you asked me in 2 weeks, I'd say onyx. I'd given more information than necessary in my unwilling honesty, and I wrote down that this next part's a red flag. And I worried it would provoke the strange anger that flared whenever I slipped and revealed too clearly how obsessed I was.
Yeah.
He gets angry at her for the seemingly most random things, and that's honestly, like, so terrifying.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
other thing is she's overly obsessed with the guy. Like, that also
Yes,
isn't
but
healthy.
he's not upset that she's obsessed with him.
He's
upset about, like, these super seemingly
As far as
arbitrary
we
things.
know, in
as
the
far
book.
as we know.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, that's the thing.
And
like,
as far as she
That's
knows.
why like my question I think has to change, because it's not about someone that's quote unquote threatening, because I mean a lot of people can be threatening. It's
But
more
he's not threatening
more
to
people
her.
that are constantly angry or get angry at little things. Like, is that something that is attractive to people? I don't think that's
I
attractive at all.
don't think that's attractive.
Like, I mean,
and
sure.
that's coming from me. I think everything's attractive.
I feel like getting angry is part of being human, and some people can find getting angry attractive, but getting angry over nothing, that's not.
Yeah,
no.
and she's like, as from her point of view, currently, where we are in the book, it's just he gets mad over the most random things, and she literally can't. She just said that she cannot really pick when it is, other than when she like lets how lets it go how obsessed she is with him. But then they, like, go back to her house.
They talk on the doorstep.
They talk on the doorstep. I literally wrote down in the margin, Stephanie Meyer loves descriptions of nothing. Like, she just describes so much stuff with
like,
nothing.
she's really good at describing things.
I used to really dislike Stephen King because of the amount of descriptions. I'd be like, just cut it!
And then he's talking about...
I killed Jay.
You good?
No.
Okay. So,
really
anyways.
intense.
I
have intense feelings about Stephen King.
They're talking about Twilight, name drop, the time of day.
Twilight.
The easiest time, but also the saddest in a way. The end of another day, the return of the night. Darkness is so predictable, don't you think? He smiled wistfully. I literally said edgelord emo boy.
Yep.
Yeah. Like...
Well, this was emo land.
Mm-hmm.
And then they talk about Charlie, and then Jacob shows up.
Yes.
Jacob shows up.
Okay, hold on. I hate this because this is like the oh shit, something's about to go down, and then nothing
It doesn't.
fucking
It's
happens.
so anticlimactic. But they just literally just watch a movie.
Yeah.
And like he's like, oh my
wait,
god,
I got
like
another
you
note
talking
for
to
chapter
him.
11. Ha, to pussy again.
Yes.
Yes, that was my other, the pussy, but with like the emoji, the smug emoji.
Yes. But like literally, this is so anticlimactic. It's literally
This is
there's like 3 or 4 or 5 pages where I don't have any.
And I feel like chapter 12 is excessively long because I feel like there's the beginning of the chapter where it's a nothing burger, and then when they actually go out to do the thing with Ed.
Well, and then in chapter, we were supposed to read chapter 12.
We were supposed to read chapter 12.
Okay. There was that part that he put the little like note.
Oh, the be safe. Oh,
yeah.
And she loved it. She was like, "Oh my god."
I said, "Okay, that's sweet." Yeah. And they're like,
again, there's really cute things in this, but it's like they're too few and far between.
Yeah. If you ignore all the red flags.
Yeah, if you ignore all the red flags.
Wade says, "Don't ignore the red flags."
Yep.
But so then they go to like this stupid little trail, and I have an entire paragraph underlined and say, "Ew." His white shirt was sleeveless. He wore it unbuttoned so that the smooth white skin of his throat flowed interrupted over the marble contours of his chest. His perfect musculature no longer merely hinted at behind concealing clothes. He was too perfect, I realized with a piercing stab of despair. There was no way this godlike creature could be meant for me. And I just wrote, ew.
Yeah.
I also don't like that they completely match with their outfit.
Middle school me.
Yeah, that's weird.
Middle school me was like, yeah, same. I don't have good self-esteem.
Yeah, but now I'm just like,
now I'm like, girl, have some confidence.
Like, ugh.
He clearly likes you enough to ignore the whole school and then just talk to you.
And then we get to the end of chapter 12. They're in the forest, and he's stepping into the sun. Edward seemed to take a deep breath, and then he stepped out into the bright glow of the midday sun. The chapter ends. It only took half the fucking book. We haven't even gotten to the conflict of the book.
Yeah, that's the other thing. This has been a whole lot of nothing.
Yes, we haven't even gotten to like the villain in the story.
They barely started dating the previous chapter, or said they started dating in the previous chapter.
Yes.
Nothing has happened, and like honestly, like this book so far is a solid 2 out of 10 for me. Like
mine's a 1 out of 10.
Rereading it again for nostalgia's sake, probably a 2.5 out of 10.
Like I say 2 because I like Steven's fucking descriptions. I really do.
I only have one more note that I wrote in here. Said I had to switch to notes in book. Towards the end of the first half, the notes are way less. I just wanted to be done. How middle school me thought this was cream worthy is beyond me. Lots of my notes literally
said multiple times you would cream to this.
Yeah, that I had. Yeah, dude. Yes. Middle school me literally the first time.
I mean, I was obsessed with New Moon, and I don't know if that's to do with depression.
So you know, in the movie, that scene in the movie where he is like, I want to try something, and they're in her bedroom at night, and he's like, I want to try something, and he goes in for the kiss. That scene, like, I want to try something, and they're in her bedroom at night, and he's like, I want to try something, and he goes in for the kiss. That scene, like, I want to try something, and they're in her bedroom at night, and he's like, I want to try something, and he goes in for the kiss. Middle school
Why-
me,
why-
literally, that is the first time I ever creamed.
Why is Kiss like you punching your hand?
Because that's how it fucking was. He like darts forward.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
it's.
I don't know,
we
it's been a
we
long
need
time
to
since-
rewatch that. We need to rewatch
No,
the movie.
oh
All three
my
of us
God.
need to watch the movie.
Oh my
together when we
god,
finish the
please
book.
don't
Finish.
make...
No.
No, don't do that to me,
Yeah.
please,
Why do
God.
you do that?
Because
God,
it just
no.
sounds funnier.
But I said lots of my notes literally just say emo, bitch.
Will you
edgy,
actually sit through the
dramatic,
movie
what
this
you
time
would
if we do
Yes,
it?
yes, I will. I will sit through the
I
entire
don't
thing if we
believe
watch
you.
Twilight.
I
I
don't
will.
believe you.
I will.
You're capping.
I will.
Capping, 100%
As long
capping.
as I'm allowed to make fun of it, I
All right,
will.
of course.
Oh, well, yeah. No one's
Everyone's
But
going
yeah,
to.
so that's
Okay, so end of story.
we have the next
end
half
of
next time.
Chapter 12.
End of half of
12,
this. I meant
unfortunately.
story as in our podcast
Oh,
this
yeah.
episode.
Or it might end up being 2 episodes.
I think
Yeah.
the feelings in this room right now are Twilight sucks
Cringy.
for
Yeah.
multiple reasons.
They're very emo for no
very
reason.
very much like it's not even just like the aesthetic or like the thoughts behind it. Like it's literally some of the writing feels like just red flags. And then some of it is like, oh, okay, I would be okay with this. This would be cute, da-da-da-da-da.
What
It
really-
feels like it's seeding all this toxicity in with just like, hey, this would be nice, huh?
Yeah. Well, so what really bugs me is that this had the potential to be such a great story.
Yes, I
like
agree
the
with that
idea
sentiment.
of it and the story itself, once you actually get to it,
Yeah.
is
So
really
say-
good. The execution was shit.
Not that it, again, that excuses his
Oh.
toxic traits and the red flags, but they all tie into him being a vampire.
Right.
Which we'll get to, but it
But, like,
still
this-
sucks in the beginning that she's so,
it
like...
also took almost half the book for that to even come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in Vampire Diaries, I'm pretty sure, doesn't the main girl like, kind of avoid them more, and it's kind of like, you're a dick? It's been a
Yeah.
while since I read Vampire
I don't know.
Diaries.
I've never read it or
I only
watched
read-
Vampire Diaries.
I think
Neither
I
have
only read 2 books, but it was such a long time ago.
But yeah, so that's our first podcast.
That's the first half of Twilight.
This is
We'll
our-
be back with the second half of Twilight
yeah.
at some point. I apologize to Jeditor for having to suffer through this a second time
Sorry, Jeditor.
Sorry, Jeditor.
Be strong, Jeditor.
because this is 4 hours.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So
Yeah, Nick's like, when are you coming home?
be liberal. Just be liberal.
Yeah.
Just leave in the funny parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm speaking, right?
No.
The fucking look Haley gave.
Our podcast, first of all.
I'm kidding.
I will
But we
revoke
love
your
Jeditor.
book club book.
We will revoke you.
Okay, fine. Take it. I don't
You're
want
like,
it
oh
anyway.
no, I
He's
don't
like,
get to
Oh,
read
wow.
the other half of
Yeah.
Twilight.
Wow, what a punishment. But thank you for joining us. Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to like the episode. I don't know what to do. Follow on Apple. I don't fucking know.
Outro.
Spotify outro.
Have a good night.
Bye.